Welcome to how to do your own investment research in order to take your investment portfolio to the next level. Now, we're going to have a lot of fun today, and I'm going to teach you finance and investing concepts in a completely brand new and really fun way. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how to become a better investor. And what I'll do is I'll teach you the secret building blocks to help you make your fortune. Now, over the next hour, I'm going to give you an investing approach that will serve you for many years to come. And this is based on my own real-life practical experience that has humbly produced amazing results for me, both personally and professionally as well. Now, I teach based on my real-life practical experience and never based on theory. And in terms of my background, I graduated from McGill University. What year is that again? Yeah, 1994. Then I'm an old man, eh? The older I get, the better I was. Then I worked in the technology financial consulting sector at Accenture, which I call Accidenture sometimes. I worked there from 94 to 98. And then what I did was I got my MBA in finance from Columbia University in New York City. I then worked at Goldman Sachs, and I also worked in the hedge fund industry at Citadel, where I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area to invest in tech companies. Then what I did was I started my own hedge fund, and I worked in the venture capital sector, where I sat on many boards. And I also started a bunch of companies as well in my career. Now, I started teaching in East Palo Alto. I love these kids, they're great. I started teaching here in East Palo Alto, where the high school graduation rate is only 40%. And all these kids here have deadbeat fathers. And I'm on the board of this charity here called the Limo Foundation, where we teach underprivileged students. And what drives me most in my life is helping people that were dealt a crappy set of cards in life. And I'm very passionate about turning them into business icons. And so I wanted to help these students here. So about 6 years ago, what I did was I created a one-day class just for them, for free, of course. It was called an entire MBA in one day. I then put up a camera in my house to share what I taught them to everybody online. And I'm very humbled to say that 7.5-hour course called an entire MBA in one course alone has generated well over 7 figures in net profit. And I use the profits to build schools and for many educational donations as well. Now, I'm smiling because my team put up this slide here. I'm a humble Canadian, but I also participated as a guest lecturer at Stanford's Graduate School of Business many times. And I've been on many panels there as well in their MBA program as a judge in venture capital startup events at Stanford. And I mentored many students on campus at Stanford's MBA program. And I was made a McGill University Dobson Scholar and Dobson Fellow for helping countless students with their startups. And I've also been on the boards of lots of companies when I worked in venture capital, along with other top venture capital firms like Sequoia, as well as Andreessen Horowitz. I then quit teaching, and I then quit the venture. I'm never going to quit teaching, I promise you. I then quit the venture capital industry, and I started teaching full-time online on websites like Udemy, other platforms, and my own website as well, of course. And I'm humbled to say that my courses have generated well over $10 million. And I have well over 1 million students in every single country. And what I do is I love to teach based on my real life practical experience in a fun and edutaining way. Now, I have over 25 years of work experience in many roles within the financial services sector. And I found that traditional finance education is terrible, as it's very theoretical. And what I do is I teach based on my work experience in venture capital, my work experience in hedge funds at Goldman Sachs, where I worked in New York, London, and Tokyo, and also my experience with venture capital incubators and top financial services investments, including private companies like Palantir, where I invested in the company when it was private. And I've been investing in cryptocurrency startups since 2013. Now, in terms of the agenda for today's web class, there's 5 things we're going to talk about. Part 1, I will teach you 3 methodologies for valuing a company based on my experience with IPOs for private and public companies as well. So I valued private companies and public companies. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at strategies to make investing a lot easier for you. Then what we'll do is in part 3, I'm going to teach about, that's my Canadian accent, about. I'm going to teach about investing and how to get the most accurate valuations for private and public companies. And then what I'll do is in part 4, we're going to discuss how I help students inside my MBA program become better investors. Now we're going to look at how various parts of the Haroun MBA program applies to investing and what you can learn by applying some of the lessons to your investing goals. And lastly, in part number 5 there. In part number 5, I will quickly interview some students and take your questions, and I'll announce the winner of my complete approach to finance and accounting masterclass, as well as I'll tell you how all of you can get access to a free course of mine today. So part 1, 3 methodologies to valuing a company. Now, when I value a company in the many IPOs I've worked on, we don't just use one valuation methodology, because what if your target price using one methodology is wrong? Well, if we use 3 different valuation methodologies, then we get the target price of all 3. And if we take the average target price using the 3 methodologies, then what we do is we minimize the margin of error. The reality, though, is that investment bankers don't know exactly how to value an IPO until the last day when the company goes public. For example, in my hand here is the Facebook IPO from many, many years ago. It's also called the S1 document. And I invested in Facebook when it was a private company in my venture capital fund before their IPO. And I love using real-life props to teach. This might be a little bit tricky to see, but on the cover here, there's a gap. The thing that's not listed is the price. Everything is here except for the price. And so what happens is investment bankers will create things like this to help their clients, meaning big mutual funds and hedge funds, value companies. And they'll use 3 of the methodologies that I'm going to talk about today. So let's go through the first methodology. The first methodology, which is the price to earnings ratio, or PE for short. Let me get big here. Hey there. The first is price earnings. Okay, that's PE for short. This is the best way to value a company. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn using a lot of props today. So when you value companies using PE, you value companies based on price divided by earnings. Okay, and it all comes down to a simple equation. And for the rest of your life, when you see a fraction in finance or accounting, I want you to always think of the denominator as being the number 1, okay? And I want you to think of the numerator as being a multiple of 1, okay? And this will make more sense to you in a second. I promise this will help. So for example, if you have earnings of $1 and a price of 10, then that means the company has a PE of 10. It means investors are paying for a stock price of $10 for every $1 in earnings. So for every $1 in earnings, investors are paying 10 times. So let me set this up here. Cool. Now, why would I pay more than 10 times for a PE? Meaning, why would I even think about paying 20 times for $1? Why would I do that? What's the point? Well, I'm going to explain why in a second. I'm going to give you a very simple methodology for valuing any companies using PE. Now, the reason you would pay more for this is because it's growing faster. So, and soon we're going to talk about this big secret brick behind me here, Lego block. And my son Dylan, I promise him he gets all these toys when I'm done here. But how do we know what to value a stock at when it comes to price to earnings? Well, it's all relative, actually. But the S&P 500, okay, the S&P 500, it represents 500 stocks that trade in the U.S. markets. And historically, the S&P 500 trades at a PE ratio of 15 times. Okay, so for every $1 in earnings, the average company historically in the S&P 500 trades at 15 times that $1 in earnings. Now, The company at a P of 10 times has earnings growth of only 10%. Okay, this will make a lot of sense in a second. I love this. And this company here that is trading at 20 times earnings, in this example, it's actually at 20% earnings growth. Okay, and we're starting to see a pattern here. And for the S&P 500, the average S&P 500 company grows at 15% earnings growth. Okay, so the pattern is making sense here. Now, if we look at the price earnings here for the S&P, okay, it's 15 times. And so what we can do is we can actually rearrange this so that we've got the price here divided by the earnings growth. And you'll have this great aha moment in a second here. Price, it's fun doing this live. I like the challenge. Price divided by earnings growth. Great, here we go. Awesome. Cool. All right. So if we take the price divided by the earnings growth, okay, that price earnings ratio 15 times divided by the earnings growth, then what that means is a PEG of 1. Now this will focus on my face. I'm going to move in a bit here. Hey there. How are you? I don't mean to be in your personal space here. But basically, a PEG ratio means a price earnings divided by growth. And so the price earnings ratio of the S&P 500 is 15, and the earnings growth is 15. So PEG, price earnings divided by growth, is 15. And the same thing holds true when it comes to, and I dropped one of my bricks here. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. The same thing holds true when it comes to this company. This company here has a price earnings ratio of 10, and it's growing earnings at 10%. So it's got a price earnings divided by growth rate of 10. And this bad boy up here has got a PEG, or price earnings to growth rate, of 20 divided by earnings growth of 20%. So a price earnings to growth rate of 1. So these companies here are all valued based on how fast they're growing earnings. So when we use PE, it's all based on growth. And when I used to work in the hedge fund industry, I would buy stocks with a PEG ratio below 1 if I could find them. And buying stocks, oh, by the way, so buying stocks when it comes to hedge funds, it's called going long, okay, going long. And the opposite of going long is going short, meaning you make money when the stock goes down. So when I was in the hedge fund industry, I loved buying stocks with a PEG ratio at or below 1. And I would short stocks that had a PEG ratio above 2. So if a company had earnings growth of only 10% and it traded at a P of 20 times, then if you take a P of 20 divided by a 10% growth rate, then the PEG, meaning price earnings to growth, is expensive at 2 times. And some of you might be thinking, okay, this makes sense, Chris. But if a company is in the red and they don't have earnings, how do you value unprofitable companies that are public or private? Well, in that case, we look at what's called a price to revenue multiple, okay? And so you take the price, and instead of looking at earnings, you look at revenue, okay? So I'll go here, price divided by revenue. A lot of moving parts here, okay? Price divided by revenue. And it's a simple concept and quite similar to PE. I got to change this bad boy here too. All right, so I'll go here. You're gone. You can stay. Price. And then we'll go here. We'll come back to these bricks here later on. So this here is a price of 20 over revenue, okay? So our second methodology here is price divided by revenue. And remember, the denominator is always the number 1, okay? So for every $1 in revenue I have, how many times are investors paying for that $1? Turn this around here. Great. Okay, cool. Remember that. The denominator is always 1. Okay, this will help you out a lot, especially when we talk about financial ratios in a little while today. So if one company is growing faster than another one, it should trade at a higher price to revenue multiple. And with price to revenue, what we do is we compare it to other companies in the same sector. It's all relative. Okay, so in the summer of 2012, I invested in 3 major IPOs. One was a company called Workday, ticker WDAY. Another one was a company called ServiceNow, founded by Fred Luddy, ticker NOW. And the third one was Splunk, ticker SPLK. And at that time, those three software companies were not profitable during their IPOs. And the going rate then for a cloud software company when it came to valuation was 15 times revenue. Meaning, for every $1 on the denominator, investors would pay 15 times that $1 in revenue. So with price to revenue, it's all relative, not only to revenue growth, but more importantly, to what comparable companies trade at on a price to revenue multiple basis. So now we know how to value companies using two methodologies: price earnings and price to revenue. Now, what about looking at earnings and revenue together and cash flow? What is that all about? This is me buying time trying to set this up fast. Here we go. Great. All right. So the third way to value a company is to create a financial model and forecast the next 20 years or so. Okay. And when you do that, over 20 years, you're going to make a lot of money in the company, hopefully. And then what you do is you take all the cash that you make, which is basically earnings, okay, and you discount it back to the present value of what it's worth today using an interest rate, okay? I'm not a big fan of DCF, but I'm exposing you to a lot of different ways to value companies and analyze companies. Okay, let's move on now to part 2, which is strategies for making investing easier. Now, in my MBA degree program, and I love props, as many of you know, right? It's like show and tell. You never forget what you brought to school for show and tell. I'm trying to get this. My son was playing with it. Okay, here we go. Good. So in my MBA program, I arm you with many thorough frameworks to help you reach your full potential as an investor and in all aspects of your career. I give you everything you need. And I provide you with so many arrows. In your quiver. All right, screw it. I'm going to just grab one this way. I provide you with so many arrows in your quiver, so to speak, so you can work smarter and not harder when it comes to reaching your wealth targets or any targets for that matter. Okay? I give you all the tools you need. And I walk through walls to humbly help my students reach their full potential. And so here in part 2, we're going to talk about strategies to make investing easier. And so I want to give you all one of the many frameworks in the MBA degree program. So please come with me now, and we're going to go to a browser. And I want you to go to this exact website, okay? Go to harounventures.com/no limits, all lowercase. harounventures.com/no limits, all lowercase. Okay. And when you get to this website here, if you look really closely, you'll see a target. Where the hell is it? Oh, yeah, there's. And what you do is you click on this target here, and together we're going to download a framework that's part of my MBA program that's going to help you do research on any public or private company. And this will make it so much easier for you to invest in companies. And this tool, I guarantee you, will make you a lot of money if you complete it. And I teach you much, much more about how to do due diligence on any company with frameworks, like this one here in my MBA degree program. So you click here, and then you select download. All right, now there's 100 steps here, 100 steps in this investment research dashboard that I made for you. And at the top here, you'll see qualitative research, see here, okay? And then in the middle, you'll see quantitative research. And on the bottom, we've got financial analysis here. So if you click on my logo over here, okay, you'll see a bunch of dashboards here, okay, a bunch of charts that update really quickly in real time once you enter in all the data. And so you can slice and dice and analyze any company you want to. So this is for Apple here. This is just dummy data. But here you can see that the market share, geographic exposure, and so much more as well. Sector exposure, the top shareholders, I analyze everything. The total addressable market, the growth of the market, percent of revenue for each product, bill of materials, and much, much more. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And in this spreadsheet, what I do is I have you answer close to 1,000 questions, okay, for any company, which changes all those charts you just saw. Now, if you click here on Executive Summary, you can get a one-page report that's automatically updated for you right here, okay? And you can hit print or save it as a PDF if you want to. And my students have gotten jobs doing this in my MBA program, and I'll talk more about that in a second. Or you can click here on Detailed Report, and you can print a 150-page research report, okay? And this is based on, pardon me, this is based on how you answer the 1,000 or so questions in this comprehensive framework that I created for you. So if we click together here on step 87, now this is going to help you build the revenue portion of your financial model. And what you'll see is I put videos, over 100 videos on how to use every single tab here, okay? So you can click on these if you want to learn more about how each one of these steps works. Stuff. This is where okay, so I'll close that down, go back here to my spreadsheet. Okay, cool. Now, if we click here on Settings, you can change this here to any company that you want to analyze. And give me 1 second, guys. Stay with me, please. Thanks. I learned about this from Bono in U2. He sings a lot, and when you sing a lot, I don't sing, you have to use Throat 37. You can buy this for your interviews too. All right, Murphy's Law. It only happens when I'm live, right? All right, so here, if we click here on 71, Financial Inputs, okay? Or you can actually look through all the best practices on exactly how to model, okay? Now, if we go back here to revenue forecast, you're going to see here how to forecast revenue. And there's so many links in here that will allow you to download external data as well. I give you all the tools that you need. Okay. Now, since I worked on Wall Street and at Goldman Sachs and in the venture capital industry and the hedge fund industries, I know exactly where to go to find everything you need to do detailed investment research. And I promise you that the billionaire hedge fund investors have no advantage over you if you use a spreadsheet to do your own investment research. And nobody is smarter than my amazing students. Now, this spreadsheet and the many frameworks I give you in my comprehensive MBA program will without a doubt help you in all aspects of your personal finances and all aspects of business so you can reach all of your targets, so to speak, in life. Now, if you want, go through this spreadsheet here and click on the video tutorial. So in every tab, there's a little video tutorial that will tell you exactly how to use that tab, and it goes directly to YouTube, right? So anyway, enjoy this, have fun with it. Let me know if there's issues with it. I don't think there are. We fixed a bunch of the bugs, but it's great. I promise you, it's worth your while. All right, let me go back to bigger size Chris here. Yay, there I am. Awesome, cool. All right, so nothing makes me happier than seeing my students succeed. So that was part 2. Let's now talk about part 3, which is, part 3 is how to come up with accurate valuations so you can profit from buying undervalued stocks. And in a minute, I'm going to open this secret box behind me here. Now, let's talk about how to forecast revenue, okay? So, and earnings and cash flow at the same time. Now, people get really intimidated in finance, and they get intimidated by financial statements. And it's so much easier than you think if you understand one little thing, okay? Now, everything is basically based on a percent of revenue, okay? Almost everything. Okay, so when you look at the income statement, and at the top of the income statement is revenue. So let me put this up here. Slide this bad boy over here. Okay. So at the top of the income statement up there is revenue, okay? And in an income statement, what people say is, what's your top line? Like, what's your top line growth, for example? Well, at the top of the income statement is revenue. Then people say, what is your bottom line, right? The bottom line of the income statement is earnings, okay? So that goes in the bottom there. What's your bottom line? We're going to visualize this and build a financial statement together. So the bottom of your income statement is earnings. The top line is revenue, which is also called sales. Bottom line is earnings, which is also called net income. And it's also cash flow in the very, very long run. Now, in order to go from revenue to earnings here, we need to calculate expenses, okay? And we need to forecast the future as well, the future of our model. Let me put this prop up here. There we go. Fun. Good enough. Okay, great. So we need to forecast the future of our model, okay? And you just got to remember one simple thing when it comes to creating forecasts. It's all based on one simple rule, which is almost everything is a percent of revenue. So if you focus on the one driver, revenue, everything else falls into place. And I'll explain how. So what we're going to do is we're going to build an income statement together, okay? And the first expense is COGS, which is cost of goods sold. So my iPhone here is sold for, let's say, $1,000, okay? So I'll put this up here. That's revenue of 1,000 for 1 unit. Please don't fall. Okay, cool. And that thing up there, that iPhone costs, let's say, $500 to make. So what we do is we put the cost of goods sold here. That's our first item here on our income statement. So the cost is $500, which is 50% of revenue. Let's keep building on this. Next up, we've actually got salespeople. So S&M stands for sales and marketing and something else as well. And every iPhone that we sell, let's pretend costs us $100 in sales and marketing. So $100 for S&M is, hi, I'm 7.5. $100 for S&M is 10% of sales. Okay, sales and revenue is the same thing. Great. Now, we also have people that work in research and development to make the iPhone. And for every iPhone we sell, it costs us $200 in research and development costs, meaning 20% of sales or 20% of revenue. Same thing. See, everything is a percent of revenue. We're building this. We'll have this great aha moment in a second, and I'll tie it into a financial model in Excel soon. What about all the other general expenses, like people that work in operations? Well, we'll throw all that stuff in this miscellaneous bucket called G&A, which stands for General and Administrative Expenses. And G&A expenses, let's just say, are $100 or 10% of revenue. Remember, revenue up there for one iPhone on the top is 1,000. Cool, we're almost done here. All right, great. So let's add up all the expenses here. $500 for cost of goods sold, okay? $100 for salespeople, $200 for R&D, plus $100 for G&A. And that equals $900 in expenses. So revenue was $1,000 up here for the iPhone, okay? And our expenses are $900. And so we're left with $100, okay? Or 10% of revenue. And let's say that taxes are 50% of revenue minus expenses. So revenue is $1,000 for the iPhone. Expenses were $900. So we're left with pre-tax income of $100. And 50% tax on $100 is $50. Great. So I'll put that there. And we are left with, how much do we have left? We're left with $50 in earnings, okay? After all expenses, including tax. Everything is a percent of revenue. Everything. So now we know the percent of revenue for all these expense items, so we can forecast revenue to be a larger number in the future. And we know that what percent of revenue all these expenses are right now. Remember the simple rule. It all comes down to percent of revenue when you're focusing on modeling financial statements, so you can get the future earnings number, so you can calculate your future PE, and a surprise that's in this white box here. So how do we analyze how profitable this company is using fractions and other stuff? Well, what we do is we take our earnings of $50 and we divide it by our revenue of $1,000. And so $50 over 1,000 means our net profit margin is 5%. Okay? What about using the number 1 in the denominator, Chris? Oh yeah. A 5% profit margin means for every $1 in revenue, Okay? Every $1 in revenue on the denominator, we make 5 pennies. It's easy to remember this way. So what about other levers? What other levers do we have to make that 5% profit margin go up? Well, you can either grow revenue faster than expenses, or you can cut expenses as you forecast your financial model. Well, what about cash flow? What about this thing, cash flow? Well, over time, in all financial models, earnings and cash flow are the exact same thing. So let's tie this in together. This is fun. And let's go back to our Excel spreadsheet here. Here I am. Great. All right. And what we're going to do is let's click here on number, I think it's 88. That's right. Income statement forecast. Okay. And what I'm going to do is get a little bit more real estate. I'll click this number 1 up here so we can see the entire income statement. All right. So this is starting to make a lot more sense now. We just create an income statement, right? We've got revenue right here at the top. Okay. Then we've got cost of goods sold right here. Then we've got sales and marketing, R&D, and earnings eventually after taxes. Okay. And now as we forecast the future here, okay, future years or future quarters, everything becomes a percent of revenue. It's that simple. And this model here, this framework works in all countries in the world. I have valued companies in every major market, and they're all the same. Okay. So basically, you've got revenue growth here. So in this year here, revenue is growing, let's see here, 34%. And then you've got here, and let's look at these years here actually. So you got revenue growing 37% here in year 7. And COGS is 10%. If we made that 4%, then that makes our profits go up a lot. These are the levers. Sales and marketing, we can cut that as well if we want to. And the same thing with R&D. And this is just for educational purposes here. But the bottom line is what you want to do when you're focusing on financial statements is you want to focus on revenue first, okay? Focus on revenue. Grow it if you can. See what it's going to be in the future. And everything else is just a percent of revenue. Okay. Part 4. How to be a better investor when it comes to forecasting financial statements. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some of the best practices when it comes to creating financial statements. And I'll look at just some of them. So let me go here and make this bigger. And I will click on number 80. Which one is it here? Best practices. I got a teleprompter up here. Number 71. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, 71. Great. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to go through just a couple of these, not all of them. Okay. And you can go through this in your own time if you want to. You can click on the videos in here to learn much more about every step to value a company. And of course, I teach you this in much more detail in my MBA program. So here are the rules. Modeling is easier than you think and a heck of a lot of fun if you remember 2 things. Number 1, most items you model are simply a percent of revenue. Number 2, modeling is all about looking for patterns. Okay, you look at patterns and project them in the future. Like an object in motion will stay in motion. You project the pattern as well. Okay, number 3, with publicly traded companies, they're large, a lot of them, and as a result, growth is positive, but revenue growth is almost always decelerating for 99.9% of all publicly traded companies. Revenue growth is positive, but it's decelerating. Okay, the derivative is slowing quite a bit. And so if growth is not decelerating for a large company, meaning slowing, okay, then it probably means they made an acquisition. And so I do a lot of M&A stuff as well to help you understand exactly how financial models work. Okay, great. Now let me get back to big mode Chris again. Hey there. Okay, cool. All right. Now it's time to open the box. This will be interesting. I don't know what's in there. All right. So we're going to open this box here in a second. Now, this box here, oh, it's so heavy. This box here, okay, it says inside this box is the secret to making your fortune. Okay. And then right here, you've got a price of 1,000. What does that mean? What was this brick here? This is like Mario Brothers. All right, cool. And my kids are at the age, my youngest one, where he's like, Daddy, can you help me out with Super Mario Odyssey? I'm like, okay, fine. Twist my arm. Okay. He wanted me to use a yellow one. Okay. But if we spin this brick around here, you see earnings of 1. Okay. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, Chris, you're crazy. That doesn't make any sense at all. You're going to pay 1,000 times? Well, for decades on Wall Street, people would tell me, they'd say, Chris, you're crazy to invest in Amazon many years ago, as it trades at like 100 or even 1,000 times earnings, if they have earnings at all. They would say, Chris, you're also crazy to invest in Tesla because it trades at close to 1,000 times earnings. I mean, Chris, in Harvard Business School, 2/3 of which is BS, in Harvard Business School, they taught me only to buy stocks with low PE multiples. And what happened was I heard that over and over and over again in my career. That's theoretical garbage. People would tell me in the hedge fund industry years ago, they'd say, Chris, investing in Amazon at 1,000 times earnings is a widowmaker. Chris, you're crazy to invest in Salesforce.com or NetSuite or eBay many years ago, or Palantir when it was private, or Facebook when it was private. Now, I pride myself in always ignoring the market, and I always do my own research, which has humbly made me a lot, humbly. And I want to share many more of my investment best practices with you. And the best advice I have is always do your own research, okay, with the tools I provide you with. Now, one more thing. I guess I have to open this up and show you guys. Let's make this dramatic. All right, see how this is going to work out here. All right, so let me open this up. I can't remember what's in this thing. We'll see now. All right, so I'll put this down here. Get rid of some of these bricks here. A clean desk is a happy desk. That's what you used to tell me, Goldman. That's me buying time. And I'll get rid of one of my keyboards here too. Great. All right, so I'm going to open this bad boy up now. All right. Now, there's a secret inside this thing, okay? A secret. And let me open it up and show you the secret that's going to make you a fortune in the long run. Ooh. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. Wow. It's a secret here. I'll have to show you in a second. Okay. Now, before I show it to you, I want to say that the best investors do their own research. The best investors are contrarians. They don't think like everybody else. The best investors are in it for the long run, and the best investors create their own financial models, and they never value a company based on this year's earnings or next year's earnings. The best investors build their own income statement forecast and financial models at least 10 years into the future. And the best investors value companies that they invest in based on their earnings estimates in 10 years. So the side of this box says 1,000. So you're telling me, Chris, to pay 1,000 times earnings for the stock? That seems a little high. Why would you pay $1,000? It's not 1,000. That's what everybody thinks. The secret is you forecast your financial model out 10 years, okay? And in 10 years, earnings can be $1,000. So your earnings estimate is $1,000 in a decade, and now the stock is cheap at a price earnings multiple of 1. Pretty amazing, huh? So the earnings estimate for me on many of these companies was $1,000 in earnings in 10 years. Okay, so now it looks like a pretty damn cheap stock. That's how you have to think, dude. You got to be long-term focused. And when you're building your financial model, you got to, and I got to get a hockey reference here, man. There we go. I'm Canadian. You hear my accent every now and then with it. But Wayne Gretzky was my hero growing up. Okay. And this is a prop for my options course. Just ignore the text on it. But Wayne Gretzky was my hero growing up. And he said he was successful, not because he skated to where the puck is, but rather because he skated to where the puck is going to be. Similarly, we need to buy stocks that people are going to like. How? By forecasting our model 10 years into the future so we can value companies based on our earnings estimates, meaning our earnings in 10 years. With this long-term mindset, you will make a fortune. It's kind of silly seeing people trying to trade stocks in the market to make 15 or 20% per year. I don't do that. I build out financial models and I look for what are called 5 baggers, which means a 500% return in 5 years. And the only way I can do that and ignore the volatility and the naysayers is to think long-term and build up my own financial model with many of the tools that I'm going to provide you with. And I've done really well with this. One more thing before I open this briefcase here behind me. I almost forgot about this thing. Yeah. It's just levitating there. Yeah. When you buy stocks, it's offensive, okay? Meaning you're trying to score a goal. And I'm about to publish a massive update to my MBA program with the addition of how to make a fortune with options. And I'm actually going to show you in a second, I'll go off script here. I'm going to show you a ticker that I guarantee you will tell you exactly when to buy stocks. And it is always right. It's always right. This is going to blow your mind. Okay. But first, before I go there, if you buy my MBA program, you get all the new videos that I add to the course every year for free forever. And I'm going to be constantly adding new videos and new content to help you take all aspects of your career to the next level. All right, let's go to the ticker here. All right, this is a big deal. It's pretty simplistic, but I like to keep things simple. And by the way, when Warren Buffett, when he presents, you never watch a presentation by Buffett and then tell yourself, God, I'm confused now. He knows how to communicate properly, and I teach you advanced communication skills as well in my MBA degree program. Okay, let's go together and check out the VIX. This is important. All right, so the VIX, and this will be in my option stuff I'm adding to the program as well. So let's go to Yahoo Finance. Never pay for any financial data or any stuff. Get it all for free here, okay? And what we'll do is we'll type in VIX, okay? And don't forget the little chapeau, accent circonflexe here. The VIX is, it measures volatility. It's part of my options course, okay? And basically what it does is the Chicago Board of Exchange, which is one of the big options markets, they created this vehicle back in 1990, okay? And basically what this means, and every chart tells you something, and I'll tell you what this chart tells us in a second. But basically what this means, the VIX, is it measures options volatility that the market is expecting in the next 30 days, okay, on the S&P 500. And when volatility is high, and it's something I'm going to teach you a lot about in the options stuff going into my program soon, but if volatility is very, very high, then what happens is the price of options go up and there's fear in the market. Okay, so right here, the VIX, it spiked initially around December of 1990, and that was during Gulf War I. A lot of fear. And then it spiked again in the late 90s, okay, when there was a fear of Asia falling. There was something called the Asian flu. Nothing to do with COVID, just the markets were in turmoil then. Then, of course, it peaked again around 9/11, right here. A lot of fear. And every time it peaks, I'm showing you, okay, big peaks is when everybody sells. And Warren Buffett once said, I love this quote, he said, the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. And I want you to be a contrarian, and I want you to be unemotional in business and in finance, and I want you to profit immensely by buying at the right times. And I'll tell you exactly when. Okay. And then right here, it spiked again when the statue of Saddam fell. That marked the bottom for the market. The market was rallying big time because fear was low. See here, after that statue of Saddam fell. And then by 2008, when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working in every country in the world, fear was at its highest and the markets bottomed. And it happened again last year. So this here reached a reading of almost 80. And intraday, you can't see this. This is March of last year, but intraday, it actually went well above 80. And that's when really unemotional investors like Elon Musk backed up the truck and bought a lot more Tesla. So no matter what you feel, if you ever see the VIX spike again to above 70 or 80, it's going to feel like death, like the world is ending. I want you to back up the truck. And I put my reputation on the line in this. It's helped me a lot in my career. You got to be a contrarian. If you buy the same stock everybody buys, you're never going to make money. Because who's the incremental investor to push that stock higher? The bottom line is here when it comes to options and the VIX, and I'll talk a lot about this stuff in my MBA program. You want to buy when people are freaking out. You want to be fearful when people are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful, which is what the sage of Omaha, Warren Buffett, said once as well. Yeah. And Buffett's not always right, but he's very long-term focused. Yeah. Yeah. And he actually came and taught one of my classes at Columbia. He graduated from Columbia as well. The only thing I have in common with him, he has 8 million zeros beside his name, beside his net worth compared to me. Mine's negative. Okay, great. All right. So we're almost done. I want to show you. I'm going to go there. Screw it. Okay. So I've got this options stuff coming out. Okay. And this will be quick, I promise you. But I love teaching. Now, I mentioned offense when it came to the hockey stick, meaning you make money by scoring a goal. How can you use defense to protect your stocks? How can you do that? I'm from Toronto originally. These are the Maple Leafs. We never win the Stanley Cup, but I still love my team. I'm loyal. How do you use defense? Well, offense is making money when stock goes up. How can you use defense to protect your stocks and maybe make money when stocks go down? Well, you can use options to buy what are called puts. Okay, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. And you can also short stocks, which is the opposite. And I'll teach you all that as well. I'm adding a ton of new stuff in the next 2 weeks to the program. Anybody that bought it in the past, the program gets all that stuff for free. Anybody that buys today gets all that stuff in the future forever. But there's tons of different inputs, okay, into options. And options is really poorly taught. And humbly, I got the top grade at Columbia in my MBA school, and I majored in finance, in options. And I still didn't get it until I worked in the hedge fund industry. But there's so many different inputs to creating an option. And I'm going to make it fun to learn. A lot of fun, a lot of fun. All right. And I'll teach you how to price options. I'll teach you so much stuff about it too. You'll love it. I got to show you that. I got 4 massive new frameworks coming out that I'm adding to the MBA the next 2 weeks or so. And let me just show you one here really quickly. I got to do this. Yeah. I'll teach forever, man. I love this stuff. All right. So I'm going to go over here and see if I have it up. Here it is here. Okay, cool. And give me 1 second. Let me check that everything's working. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. So I've got 4 massive spreadsheets coming out that are being added to the MBA program. This is just one of them here. Okay. And I teach you based on whether you're genius level options, beginner, whatever it is. Okay. I make it easy to do. And so I teach you about the VIX in more detail and volatility. And you can click here to go to any page here. Or any tab. Okay. The bigger picture. I teach you about going long and short stocks. Okay, in a lot of detail. I have over 100,000 cells with calculations in them, and I made these spreadsheets quite small. I tell you exactly how to price options. I teach statistics from scratch in a fun way. Statistics is taught in a real poor fashion, man. Like, I get confused whenever somebody says normal probability. I teach it in a fun way, and I show you how to make money using statistics in all aspects of business, not just finance. I also teach you how to value companies or value options using 3 different valuation methodologies. And then this is the kicker. I provide you with 35 option strategies and every option strategy you can possibly think of. Okay, I do all this stuff for you, and you can create these customized reports as well. So for example, and I try to use Legos, and yes, we do a case study on Legos in the MBA program. It's a private company, yeah. They almost went belly up in 2000. But I teach you about a married put, a covered call, and this is what those charts look like. An iron condor, there's iron butterflies. I teach you in a fun way too. Back spreads. I don't know what to call this one. Front spreads. Hi there, I guess. That sort of thing. And I set it up so that if you're working for somebody or you want to get a job and you want to impress somebody, I provide you all the tools, right? What you can do is you can actually print out a report as well. And I have so many of these reports for you, right? And you customize these reports. You can turn on and off stuff at the top as well, turn on and off your name. All this stuff updates in real time from the 100,000 cells, okay? And it's great. And so you hit print here, and you could save it as a PDF, okay? Or you can print it as well. Okay, so that's enough about that, I promise you. Okay, but I do love to teach. I love it. I love it. Yeah. All right, let me get this crap off my desk here. My prop. Ugh. Okay. It's fun visualizing stuff, though, man. It's easier to remember this. Now, I would love to have you all join me in my MBA degree program, okay, to learn much more about all this stuff. Again, everything I create, you get for free after you buy it forever. I mean, a lot of the updates. I'm buying time to try to make this perfect. That's good enough. Okay. All right, there we go. We're good to go. Okay, great. So yeah, I'd love to have you join us, man. I'd love to have you join us. It's a lot of fun. And I still got to show you, I forgot almost, what's inside this briefcase right here. All right, so let me now move on. And I got to get this other moose here. That's how we say in Canada, moose. All right, give me 1 second. Here we go, good, back on track. Okay, great. All right, so let me go to the next slide here. Oh, goodness. It is not updating for me, folks. All right, so I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you how I'm going to update it. I'll make a teachable moment out of everything, okay? And I fail a lot in business too, and I teach you based on my failures, okay? All right, so what I'm doing is I'm using a product called Wirecast, okay? And Wirecast is, I teach you how to use it in the program. You have to pay for it. But I also teach you how to use a Twitch stream. Yes, I do Twitch streaming. And I teach you how to use OBS, which is Open Broadcasting Software. I teach you everything you need to know from a sales and marketing perspective. And let me see if I can fix this. So what you do is you add what are called layers here, okay? And so this layer up here is supposed to be coming from up top. So I'm going to go here. It's like using Photoshop. And what I'll do is I will go here and see if I can refresh this. And then we'll move on. I promise you here, okay? Because I got a big surprise for you I want you to see. So I'm going to get rid of this guy here, okay? I'm going to gut it. And then what I'll do is I'll add another layer here, which is a screen capture, okay? We'll do MacBook Pro up there. Okay, good. I see it on the left there. I'll drag it underneath my visage, my face there. And then what I got to do is I've got to move it over. So give me 1 second, guys, okay? Hold on 1 second. All right, so this guy's going to go on top. And then what I'll do is I'll move this over here. And we're almost ready to move on. I think it's going to work. Let's do it. Okay, great. We're almost there. A little bit higher. Okay, good. And Salvador Dali from Barcelona once said, if you strive for perfection, you'll never reach it. Okay, let's see if that works now. Okay, hold on 1 second. It's still not going to work. Okay, stay with me. I'm going to open a version I have of that presentation right here on my desktop. I'll show you behind the scenes here. Thank you guys for your patience. It happens. All right, so I'm going to go to PowerPoint. And then what I'll do is I'm going to open those slides so we can look at it together. All right, great. So let me go here, November 3rd, investor presentation final. Oh, goodness. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so I downloaded it here. It's in my downloads. I love you guys. Just stay with me, please. Okay. All right, give me 1 second. This is today. It kills me because I've got a code for you guys to get something free as well. All right, what I'll do is I'm going to email it to myself, and then I'll download it really quickly here. And I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go to Gmail here, and I've got a guy I work with in Toronto. He's my family, and his name is Joey. So the November 3rd presentation, I'll get it here. Joey, can you send it to me? Thanks, man. All right, so give me 1 second. I'll go to Joseph Ebenstein. And type your questions there, guys, okay? Thank you. All right, so I'll do here November 3rd. I'll search here, presentation. Sorry, guys. All right, hold on 1 second. This here, no. 1 second, guys, I'm so sorry. All right. It's killing me, guys. It's absolutely killing me that I can't show you this. Give me 1 second, okay? Hold on. That's October 27th. Where's November 3rd? October 22nd. It's killing me. Joey, help me out, brother. Oh, here it is here. I got it. Joe, we're good, dude. It's my bad, not yours. All right. So let me download this really quickly, and you can see behind the scenes here. And I promise you I don't make mistakes like this in my MBA program. But I'm keeping it real, man. It's all right. All right, I'm going to go down to this slide, which is right here. And I removed a bunch of slides. So give me 1 second. All right, so down here. Here we go. Good. Yay, we're here. Okay, great. Awesome. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to set it up that way. And then we're going to push Chris over to the other side. Okay. Give me 1 second. Pip. I will go back here to full screen. And I will move myself over here. And give me 1 second to crop this slightly. I love you guys for being patient with me. Here we go. Okay, good. That should work. We should be good here. Okay, great. Go over to PowerPoint. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. All right. So how can you account for so many factors and so many stocks? Well, what you need systems and processes to make sure you're actually making the right investment decision. And so what you need easy to follow tools and frameworks for investment research. And you need a lot of tools actually to make sure that you're using all of the data correctly. Okay. So, and also you need models of successful investors to follow. In my MBA program, we analyze so many billionaires as well and why they're successful and why you can be just as successful. And so you need a way to make sure you're doing it right before you risk your own money. Okay, great. So I'm introducing here the MBA for finance investors. And so I want to take you through each of the 5 pillars of my MBA program really quickly to explain how this is applicable to you. And all the lessons provided inside the Haroun MBA are practical, relevant, and modern as well. Meaning, these strategies are being used right now, and they'll continue to succeed in the future, I promise you. Okay, and I know they work because they're the exact same strategies I've used to be successful and will continue to use today. I failed big time today though, but learn from my mistakes. And if you work for a schmuck at work, by the way, don't worry, you're learning how not to manage people. Okay, great. Great. So we cover everything from managing your personal finances to starting your own company and everything in between. And this type of learning would normally take you years of work experience to get, but it's available at your convenience inside the Haroun MBA degree program. And you'll learn how to research, analyze, and trade stocks and options, like I mentioned, using many frameworks so you can work smarter and not harder at achieving your targets and goals. And you're going to be positioned to outperform the markets in the long run, okay, using the many financial frameworks that I'm going to give you in the program. And the lessons are easy to apply. They're simplistic, and you can go from being financially illiterate to a professional investor as well. Now, the second pillar there, out of 5, there's 5 pillars. The second one there is personal growth, okay? And here in the personal growth track, you're able to develop a crystal clear image of the person and future you truly desire. And understanding what you really want will determine the type of investor you want to be. And so I want you to think of me like a waiter. Not a very good waiter today, by the way. Yeah, let me go back up one side here. There you go. I want you to think of me like a waiter, okay? So I expose you to all careers, and I help you change careers with one-on-one coaching. Or I humbly help you get the job or the promotion or secure funding for your startup. Now at restaurants, you have a lot of things that you can actually pick from the menu. And I help you pick your passion. Choose your passion. And having big goals will also impact how you invest in the market. And this section here is awesome because it's full of frameworks, case studies, and research systems that give you actionable lessons that can impact your future wealth. Okay. Next up, we got the third of 5 pillars, which is the economics management and strategy portion of the MBA program. And here you're going to learn the practical skills that you need to succeed in the future economy. And what we'll do is we'll analyze how governments treat money and what that means to investors of every single size. Okay. We also take a very deep dive, deep into cryptocurrencies, and we consider how they'll impact the financial systems in the future. And all the lessons have their own workbooks, and you can take it on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, and all the lessons you can access for the rest of your life as well. Okay, that was me buying time while the slide is slow here. Okay. Oh, we also have in the entrepreneurship track, we also have a venture capital boot camp. Okay, in the 3rd of 4 semesters, and the VC boot camp actually helps you start your own company if you want to. And this is based on my work experience coaching countless startups when I worked in venture capital and the companies I've started or invested in as well. I'll also arm you with many sales, marketing, and communication tools so you can sell yourself to companies, okay? You can sell yourself to customers, and you can be way more competitive than your competition when it comes to communications. Remember, one presentation done the right way can change your life. This will change my life for the worse today because of all my mistakes. But thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Great. So if you incorporate all the stuff that I teach you I promise you, you'll be successful. I help you work smarter and not harder as well. And so welcome to Live Gold. Okay. Now, for the Live Gold program, you get more than 300 hours. You get more than 300 hours of lessons. And students are going to have lifetime access to all content, including many hours of brand new lessons that I add every single year at no additional cost to ensure that this is the most up-to-date MBA program on the market. You also get more than 200 hours of live Q&A, and there's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. So you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Okay. Now, before I move on here to Platinum, we're still talking gold. The 30-day money-back guarantee, it expires 30 days after we start on January 10th of 2022. So if you secure your spot and buy today, you have 99 days from today until February 10th to get 100% of your money back. That's how confident I am in this program. Again, classes start on January 10th of 2022. All right. Next up, we got Platinum. Okay, so Platinum is Live Gold, the stuff I just showed you, and much, much more. Okay, so in Platinum, it's called Live Platinum, you get everything you get with Live Gold, plus 3 hours of one-on-one confidential Zoom meetings with me, spread out over the year on Mondays, Tuesdays, or Thursdays. And Platinum also starts on January 10th, 2022. And the same money-back guarantee applies here. Okay, great. Now, before you make your final decision, I want to take this short opportunity to go through what options you have here. Okay, so gold you can buy here, and it's on sale today, right? It's supposed to be $1,500. We got $500 off, and I'll tell you how to buy it as well. Now, at the bottom, it says this offer is good until November 3rd. This is an old slide. The offer is good until November 8th. Okay, we'll go there together. But you get all this bonus stuff down here if you buy today for gold and platinum. Okay. Plus, if you buy gold, you get 3 additional Zoom calls with me and so much more stuff. Okay. And the same thing with platinum, three additional ones. All right. Let's go to the next slide here. Okay. So let's talk about the cost. Okay. The cost of traditional MBA programs. So that gray box there on the right, that small gray. Okay. It's a traditional MBA degree. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how much it costs. Wait for it. All right, here we go. You ready? The cost of an MBA for a traditional school. Here it comes. I need dramatic music here. It costs you $100,000. Okay, this is fake money. It costs you $100,000 plus 2 to 3 years of your life. Waste of money. Waste of money. And they teach you old crap. That has been out of date since literally last century. They haven't kept up with tech trends either. All right, and this $100,000, it's a financial hazard, you know, that many people get trapped in, and they end up paying off debts for many, many years. And the worst part, if anything can be worse than losing $100,000, the worst part is they teach you theories and concepts that, as I mentioned, were outdated last century. Okay, and they're not going to serve your purposes in the future either. In fact, the cost of the Haroun MBA degree program is less than 1 hour of attending these schools, but promises to deliver far more in the way of lessons that you're going to use to make more money and have a better life overall. And many of our existing students already had an MBA degree from top schools, and they took the program and they report that they still reference the templates, lessons, frameworks provided by the MBA program here at Haroun Ventures. And students also say they learn more in 1 month in our program than at traditional MBA schools. All right, the second one there in the middle, see that middle gray bar? I think I should be pointing this way now. Yeah. So the second one is the middle gray bar. Other online MBA educations. They cost you usually $10,000 to $25,000 plus 1 to 2 years. And these programs continue to pop up and promise you all the benefits of a traditional program. However, when you get inside, they often leave a lot of gaps in your learning. Additionally, they remain trapped in the idea of accreditation. And as a result, they also tend to teach outdated concepts and theories that are no longer relevant. And these programs might promise you lessons from founders of Fortune 500 companies, but inside you'll end up wondering where or when will these lectures become available. And so I'm a Columbia University graduate. I graduated with an MBA there in the year 2000. I've also worked in investing, consulting, venture capital, M&A, etc. And I've also started several companies of my own, including my own hedge fund and venture capital firm. And all that practical experience allows me to guarantee what you are learning will be relevant in the modern workplace. Plus, you get access to free new content forever, and you have 99 days between today and the 30-day money-back guarantee date of February 10th. Again, we start on January 10th. Okay, you can get your money back 100%. No other MBA school does that. Okay, it just doesn't exist out there. Okay, yeah, and there's also a bonus as well that I mentioned. If you buy platinum or gold today, you get 3 additional one-on-one Zoom calls with me. Okay, and there's other bonuses as well if you buy before November 8th. And yes, I'll show you the link in a second. Okay, you get free access to my new options materials. You also get 3 additional Zoom meetings, as I mentioned, and you'll get access to our Slack channel to network with current students and graduates. You'll also get access to our LinkedIn alumni community, and you're all welcome to join us here in person on December 18th here in the San Francisco Bay Area for our annual alumni networking event. And what I did was I rented an amazing museum. I'd love to meet you in person and spend the day together, along with our other current platinum and gold students. Bring your family, have lunch on me. And this is all for gold and platinum students to network out with each other. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to gut this, okay? And I'm just going to jump here and wing the rest with the link for you. Okay. Here we go. Great. There you go. Okay, great. So you can purchase gold or platinum today. And in order to purchase it, you go to harounventures.com/early access. And let me go there with you. Okay? Again, this offer expires on the 8th of November. So I'm actually going to go there with you. Give me 1 second. Okay, hold on a second here. All right, cool. So I'm not here anymore. There's a face off in the corner. I was supposed to be in the corner there. I'm not. Okay. All right, so what you do is you go to harounventures.com. Fun doing this live, eh? harounventures.com/early access. Okay, there we go. Okay, great. Whoops. Give me a second, guys. harounventures.com/early access. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, thank God. Okay, good. Team, if you're watching, that was my fault, not yours. Okay, great. So basically, you have between now and November 8th to purchase this. Okay, and you get 100% money back guarantee, as I mentioned. So what you can do is you can buy gold here for $500 off. Okay, or you can buy platinum for $500 off here as well. Space is limited. And if you reserve your spot, you'll see here that at checkout, there's actually, you can do payment plans as well. Okay, so for example, you can buy live gold for $500 off for $1,000, or you can do payment plans of 3 payments times $399. Okay, now if we go back here to platinum, okay, you get $500 off as well. Okay, and so you spend $2,000 instead of $2,500, and then you also get an access if you want to payment plans of 3 times. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Big Chris now. All right, so again, that offer, it's right here below me here. This lower third thing. It expires on November the 18th. Stick around because I've still got a gift to give all of you. All right, great. All right, so in a second, I'm going to open it up for Q&A. And you can ask me questions and current platinum students questions. And I've asked a couple current students to come on to Zoom with me to chat about their experiences. And so while I set it up, I'll talk a little bit about them. We've got Ginny from Vietnam. We've also got, she just got a badass job in Australia at the biggest bank there. 3-year guaranteed contracts, amazing. We've also got Peyton Kalawahea, who is in the United States Navy, and he's currently based in San Diego. All right, and then what we've also got is, we've got Christina, who's another one of my amazing MBA students. And Christina actually is, she's from New York City, but she lives here in the Bay Area. She's very active in the alumni community as well. And so if you guys want, you can jump on the call Here we go. I got Ginny here. So I'm going to admit Ginny. And let me go now and share my screen so you guys can see exactly what I've been creating in the background there. So I'll go here to Zoom, over here. Great. And we'll bring Ginny onto the call. Alt-tab over here to Zoom. Yeah, it works. Okay, view. And I will accept Ginny here. Admit Ginny. Okay, great. All right, great. And so Ginny is joining now. And I'll get to your questions as well while we're waiting for Ginny. Now, while we wait for Ginny to join, as well as Peyton Kalahea. Hey, how are you? I was going to answer other questions, but let's go right to you. How are you, Ginny?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. How is Vietnam today?
It's a bit cold. It's dark right now. But
Right,
it's
right.
good.
Okay, cool. It's oh my God, the time difference is, what time is it there?
It's 2 a.m., but it's all right.
2 a.m. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for that. God bless you. Appreciate. And we got Peyton from the Navy.
Yo,
How are you, Peyton? What's going on, dude?
always good, always good. How are you?
I'm great. So why don't we start off with Ginny? Ginny arrived first. Ginny, why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened, what you learned in the program, how you networked to get the job of your dreams? Yeah.
Sure, sure. Everything that I got here today is that I learned from the MBA program,
Thank you.
and I remember that you mentioned to us to networking as much as possible,
Right.
and that's really is the crux of the reason why I got the job that I do. So it's been exciting journey, and thank you so
Very
much
cool.
with everyone actually really chipped in and really helped with my confidence as well. So
It's awesome.
it's been amazing.
It's awesome. Well,
Thank you so much.
You and all my students inspire me so much. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So tell us about the job you got and how you just did it by networking and sending financial models and write-ups.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Well, humbly, I think I was really lucky to get the job offer that I did in an investment bank
Right.
in Sydney, and so it was through LinkedIn.
Cool.
The My future boss is he was a professor in MGSM, and he's also was an alumni at MGSM, and we clicked quite well when we talked, and
Right.
and then he asked me to send in a financial model that would help with gaming and stuff that he's doing,
Nice.
and like a nerd that I am, so I was working quite hard at it for 1 week, and it turns out that he liked it. So
Awesome.
here I am today, and all
Awesome.
thanks to you and everyone in the class
No.
that really supported
We
me
have
throughout all this time.
the amazing thing is you never met him in life. It's just been Zoom. Do you want to show us the model quickly? Like for like 20
Sure.
seconds or so. So this is incredible. So Ginny built this from scratch, and we talk about a lot of this stuff in class, but it's all her IP. Yeah. She's amazing. All right. So we got
So
here
yeah.
the financial model. Okay, cool. And this is on Aristocrat Gaming, right? That you sent and you got the job because of this too. Do you want to just click on a couple items there to run through it?
Sure, definitely. So let me just quickly go to the section one, which is the overall, view of the industry.
Uh-huh.
This is the gaming sector.
Uh-huh.
So here we actually have an overview of digital gaming. If I scroll over here, we'll get to the overview of the gaming machine sector, which is the LAN gaming that Aristocrat used to work in. So
Right.
as you can see, I'm a huge geek. Anyway,
And
so if we scroll down here, and also thanks to Peyton actually, because she, Chris and Peyton actually had a quick call in regards to Infinity XC, I think XC Infinity,
Yeah.
which is in
Yeah.
NFT. So that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
kind of remember a lot about
Very
the
cool.
metaverse and
Oh, I
the
love it.
calculus.
It's great. It looks amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. It's awesome. You inspire me so much, Ginny. You got this incredible job without ever meeting this person. That's incredible. Amazing. Let me ask Peyton. Peyton, do you want to come on and tell us a little bit about yourself and the companies you've started and the money you've made and all that great stuff
Yeah,
in the program?
for sure. Yeah, so I joined, Chris was gracious enough to let me in late. So I signed up for the Platinum And the reason why I wanted to do one-on-ones with Chris, because I had an idea for a business that I wanted to do, and the business was Binge Learn, which is aggregating free content around the internet and putting it in one central location so people can learn for free. But ended up being that like I took Chris's course, and you do this a lot, but like you go through like Chris's course, and he just opens up a lot more and ideas into your head than you thought. And so for me, it was crypto, and I like fell in love with crypto. And you guys will see if you guys actually join the program of like how in depth he goes into and some of that stuff. So I took around like I actually sold I sold like 30K of my stocks and put it into crypto. I was like I was going all in, and I took that 30K, and now I'm currently sitting at like 120, 130 when it comes to stuff. And so yeah, Chris, it's updated for that specific thing that you told me. But like a lot of my investments that I've had been doing, like the sandbox and everything like that, have been just going on a complete tear in terms of the metaverse ever since Facebook went like meta for like that NFT type of thing. That interview that we've had also opened up some like, you know, doors in terms of investing. And I've gotten 3 job offers, not actually taking any of them, just for the fact that I'm actually focused on serving the Navy, and then also doing my own like YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel has grown like probably Chris was like probably my like 100th subscriber or something like that, and I'm sitting at around 1,600.
Amazing.
Soon to close in at 17.
You just
very
started
soon.
it, and I guarantee you you'll have 100,000 within a year. That's awesome. Tell us about the company you started, the Game Report.
Oh, Game Report. Yeah. So the Game Report there's a gap in the current like crypto gaming sphere of like the S1 reports and the Q1 reports.
Right.
And something that like Chris talks about in terms of the stock market. So I was really interested in the stock market analysis that like he has in Goldman Sachs, and I think you went over. I was in the live for a little bit. I went into that 100 steps. Yeah. And I was very interested in that. But the one thing about like what you teach is like reading their prospectus, reading the risks and all that stuff. And there's a huge gap right now for investors when it comes to like crypto gaming or even cryptocurrencies in general. They don't have the luxury of having like the SEC or anything like that to really give transparency to businesses. And so that's what I do is I try to give transparency, interview CEOs, read their white paper, convert it into more of like an S1 type of format. Right. So.
Very cool. I love it. Well, you inspire me, brother. Thank you. And we've got Christina as well. Christina and her wonderful husband, Christian. They live in the Bay Area. They're both in the MBA program. They have a daughter named Isabella, who's great as well. They were on CBS recently, 3 of them being interviewed for something. They're very well spoken. So Christina is from New York originally. She moved out here to the Bay Area, and she lives very close to me as well. And she's helped me out a lot with graduation. She's awesome. She's our fearless leader. Christina, how are you?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Ginny. Hi, Peyton. Hi, everybody on the webcast today. Thank you for having us.
Sure.
I'm really excited to be here. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm always great. I had a little bit of a hiccup earlier. I'm not sure if you saw it, but
yes, I was online.
I got through it. Yeah. A little heart attack, but it's okay. It's fun. Yeah.
Well, it's real. You know, that's the reality now that everybody is doing all their stuff online, virtually. You know, it's just pushing through. You know, and just getting through it because everybody has that experience. You know, on Zoom, on any webcast.
Yeah.
It's all great.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for being part of the program. What advice would you have for existing students that are thinking about joining the program? And as you answer that, I'm going to look through to see if they have any questions for all of you. Thanks.
Great. So just a little background, like Chris said, I'm originally from New York, and, you know, I went to NYU, I went to Columbia. I had an amazing career in healthcare and in fashion and apparel. I was a CIO, COO at the age of 27, and I loved the pursuit of entrepreneurship and, you know, building businesses and mergers and acquisitions. And in 2008, I did a major pivot in my life, and I uprooted myself and moved to California. And I did a lot of work in volunteering and philanthropic work, charities. And, you know, I found my passion in knowing that I can make a difference in the world in a different way. And, you know, last year when COVID hit, I called it a COVID bonus. Chris, you know, I went online to look for some stuff on entrepreneurship, business development. I wanted to see what has shifted in 20 years since I was at Columbia. You know, it's graduating in 2001. I'm like, how is it now in 2021? And when I came upon Chris's weekly webcast on Thursday, I'm sure many of you guys have been on it. I was like, who is this person who spends 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Thursday just being available to everyone around the world, making a difference
and making mistakes clearly today. Yeah. I want y'all to laugh at me and learn from my mistakes, please.
We're there with you. Like you keep it real. You make it where you are accessible. You're totally transparent. And that's one of the reasons why, I gravitated to your way of teaching. And, it's in an edutainment way, but at the same time, it's practical. It's not theoretical where it's just conceptual, where we couldn't take what you taught us, in the time you did and be able to apply it right away in our day-to-day real life. Everything from your 5 pillars of concentration of teaching from, finance and accounting with, the big things that I've gotten out is the personal growth track where, you share your mindset. And I've learned, especially in my 20 years, I would say, but then especially this past year, the way you help us incorporate things of personal growth, how important that is. Because unless we are in a good place, unless our mindset is in a good place, it's really hard to apply anything you're learning outside of that. Right. If you're not happy, if you're exhausted, stressed out, overwhelmed, you're not going to be able to execute on any of your dreams, your business plans. You're not going to be a good parent. You're not going to be able to follow through in your jobs, in your extracurriculars, in your side hustles. Right. It's just not practical. But by you teaching us things like biohacking, things that even like the other day, learning about drones and how you can incorporate that into your sales and marketing, into promoting yourself, your brand, and how important like networking is in life. And you really touched upon how, it's so important. Your net worth is your network. And it's so true. And that's one of the biggest takeaways I've gotten this past year being in your Platinum program is the fact of this amazing community that we have. And I call it our amazing MBA global family, because it really has been that. I'm here on the West Coast in California, and my contacts were all in New York originally. But what this program has created, and being part of Platinum, is being able to have access to 150, now 300 of the most amazing people in the world. I mean, people like Ginny, Peyton, Kemi, Kevin, Sabra, Cal, Usama, all these amazing people that I've now called my family is because we have access to each other. We support each other. We all have very different ways of approaching life, right? We all come from different walks of life. Yet coming together, we're each other's biggest cheerleaders. It's not competition. Even we're all doing crypto, let's say next year. There's skin in the game for everyone. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Right. Like my husband, Christian, he's part of this amazing MBA program. He's been doing it with me this past year. He's in great. The gaming industry space, 20 years. At
Sony, right?
Yes, okay, Christian's currently at Sony PlayStation. Yeah. And, he's at the headquarters here in San Mateo. Nice. And, for 20 years, he's been in this industry. And he's always wanted to create a side hustle or pivot in a way. But he's been in the traditional world of the game industry, but, it's been so great aligning, with you since you're a big gamer, and then Peyton, he loved having the one-on-one with you, Peyton, because it really let him see, wow, look at these young millennials and what opportunities there are and how they can be entrepreneurs in the game industry. Yeah. It's not just working for the big companies, which is amazing. Christian has been blessed for 20 years being at some of the best, big, AAA game consoles companies and making amazing games that has fun. Yeah. And he loves the fact that the future is endless of what's possible for, people to build and grow. And now with crypto, NFT crypto and gaming, and then just in the sense of what is available to all of us, right? We all have opportunities, and you help us kind of fine tune and laser focus on what are things that we're passionate about. What are the areas of life that we are good at, and how to bring that forth to the forefront by utilizing all of your skills that you teach us on, finance and accounting, how to be smart, about how to invest, how to create your business plan. You know, one of my favorites of yours is your VC boot camp in third trimester. And I can't wait for all of you who are signing up for Gold and Platinum and even Silver to experience that, because it really helps us like step by step. If you saw just a sample of his spreadsheets, like it's over the top, but guess what? It's step by step. He doesn't leave you hanging. If you have questions, every week we get to come on, you know, and talk to each other, talk to Chris. You know, the one-on-ones are invaluable because he helps you. He sees you better than you see yourself when you share about what you're doing.
I learned so much. Like, my students inspire me so much. I learn a ton from my students. You're all incredible experts in your own respective industries, and I'm eternally grateful that you're a part of this, and thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. And thank you so much, guys, for joining. Let me see if anybody has individual questions for the people on the call. Let me know. I see a bunch of people saying congratulations to Ginny on her new job. Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool. All right. Let me see here. All right. I guess I can just go through questions. Is that cool, guys? You want, and you guys can chime in if you want to. And if anybody else wants to join us on Zoom, you can join as well if you want. I guess what I'll do is let me ask you guys a question, and while you guys are answering it, I'm going to paste the Zoom link here into YouTube so other people can join if they want to. Why don't you all tell me what was your favorite part so far of the program? And again, while you do that, I'll get the Zoom link and I'll paste it here so other people can join. Thanks.
Ginny, you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Hey, hello. I'll state it once again. So I think I love every single thing about the MBA degree. I think definitely like the sum of its part is like you know, that everything, you've got to look at things from their full perspective, and it's kind of like a person. You can't chop up a person's parts and say, you know, I like the pinky a lot better than other parts. The whole thing, you know, like Christina actually mentioned previously, she said that we get to build our own inner confidence from the ground up, and get to be the person that we want to be in the future, and it's so great because we've got Chris, who's absolutely is amazing. We love him.
You guys inspire me. I love you guys. You guys are the best. Yeah.
And we have a great community here. So I have to say everything that the whole of it is much more. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being a part of it. Again, I learn a ton. I'm inspired by my students. I walk through walls for you guys. If you guys succeed, I succeed, and I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to fail you. I'll do whatever it takes to be a pit bull and a pork chop, to be aggressive, to get you whatever you want in business. Yeah. Cool. And we're going to start accepting other people now. If you guys want to join Zoom, you can click on the link there, and we could
do it.
We can ask questions that way. There's Christian. Hey, how are you? He's in the back there. Okay, here we go. So I'll go to admit.
What's up, Christian?
And Joey, I saw you there too, brother. All right, I'll let you guys in if you want. Okay, cool. All right, so we got Kevin, and if anybody else wants to join, the more the merrier. This will be fun. We did a call last week where we had like 70 people on Zoom. It was kind of fun. Yeah.
Dang, that was fun.
Yeah, I didn't make a big mistake.
Sorry, I missed out. I was on the plane.
Yeah. It was good. No mistakes on my part. Today, disaster, but it's okay. It's fun. Yeah. We're learning. I'm learning as you guys inspire me. All right, cool. So let me go through, see if there's questions here. We've got Sarush is joining. We've also got. Give me 1 second. Kevin just joined as well. Unmute. Feel free to unmute and ask questions if you want. No need to lift your hands if you want. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go through to see if there's anybody else that has questions here. All right, so I've got a couple of canned questions that people ask actually all the time. And by the way, what I'll be doing is I'm going to give you all the link to get that free gift as well very, very soon. But a question I get is, what is the difference between platinum and gold and live platinum and live gold? Nothing. We just rename them. That's all. Because there are live components to it as well. And as y'all know, in platinum, you get 3 hours of one-on-one meetings. And then you get 3 additional meetings if you buy today. And with gold, there's no one-on-one meetings. But if you buy today, you get 3 of them. Yeah. So it's kind of like an early access bonus in addition to the $500 off. Next question is, how do I, which I get quite often, these are canned questions. Do I need to attend all classes? Absolutely not. This is your MBA on your own terms. And so what you can do is you have lifetime access. In order to pass and get the degree, all you need to do is there's 100 quizzes and 100 classes. After each class, a quiz will take you a couple minutes max. They're easy. And all you got to do is get over 50% on half the quizzes, meaning 50 quizzes, in order to get your degree and stuff. And you got access to all this stuff forever. Yeah. And so if you miss a class, it doesn't matter, because I want you to think of it like I'm a waiter, a very bad waiter today, apparently. A waiter with a menu. You can choose whatever you want. I'm here to help you. If classes are not of interest to you, or if you already have expertise in a certain area, there's no need for you to watch it if you don't want to. Yeah, and you can watch from anywhere in the world, obviously, on any form factor device. Yeah. Next is, how do I become part of the Slack community? When you join, we give you access, that sort of thing. Okay, great. It looks like I've got a couple people trying to join here, so I'll accept you in. And if anybody has questions or comments here on Zoom, you guys go ahead, and while you do that, I'll be looking through other questions here too. Thanks. All right. So I guess what? Oh, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Christina. Hi, Joey. Good to see you. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Joey, how are you?
I just want to kind of quickly share why I chose to join Platinum. I think that was important. One, like I mentioned earlier, was, in 20 years, after graduating Columbia, I wanted to kind of see what was going on in the business world and what is available to people. But it really was your open house last year on October 9, 2020, when you had your 12-hour marathon epic session. Yeah. It gave me a taste of what it was going to be like to be in your program. Having all the people on the Zoom throughout the day, people were coming on and off. What was incredible was the community. That was what was missing for me, from traditional school, traditional MBA. You do have, the in-person collaborative stuff, but what it gave me a sampling was how incredible we had people from around the world on that Zoom call in that open house. Incredible. And it just gave me a taste. And if you looked at that, go back to look on that, so many of us are in your Platinum program. It's amazing. I think that was like that lightning in a bottle experience, once in a lifetime thing, where it really gave a person an experience of what it's like when you have a community of like-minded people with the same growth mindset of wanting to pursue greatness and having everyone being synergistically supporting each other. One of the great things, Dr. Jay Patel, he was in our open house call. What he said was gold, was the fact why we do what we do in life. We all want fulfillment. Right. Okay. And Jay, thank you. I'm going to share what you said there, because that's what was my tipping point to really want to be part of this community. Yeah. One is that we all want personal growth. We all want to grow. We all want to learn and have fulfillment in life. We're all in the pursuit of that. Right. Yeah. Second is contribution. We all want to make a difference in the world. We all want to know that we can do more outside of just ourselves, and that we can make a difference to our community, our families as friends, but really the world, if possible, right? On a global level. And lastly, it's community. Yeah. Feeling like you belong somewhere, feeling where you're part of a family of like-minded people who all want to be each other's biggest cheerleaders to accomplish all the things we want to do. When he shared that, like the whole Zoom was like,
dude, he was amazing. And I talked to him recently. So he's jammed because of COVID in New York. He's a doctor, but he's going to be more active later. But great guy.
Yeah, he's amazing. I've done my one-on-one with him. I've spoken to him, and he's doing well. I'm so proud of him, what he's accomplishing and achieving, and what him and his wife are going to achieve on their side hustles and what they're creating. But that's what I mean. It's just really, and we've taken it to the next level. We have our weekly Zoom happy hours. We have an amazing alumni group run by Jason Blythe from our 2019-2020 class, where we have monthly come together. We do pitch practices together. We call them pitchathons. It's really being there for each other. And on a global level, it's so hard to find that the way you've created this ecosystem for us, Chris. And I just really want to thank you from the bottom of hearts all of our MBA Platinum Gold students and all your Silver Online. You're just amazing. The stand that you are for all of us, and what your mission of education in the world it's just so amazing that it just inspired me to want to be part of that.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
even
you.
if we could be a part.
Our sense of community is amazing. I love my students so much. And Christina, Ginny, and Peyton, remember I told you I'm going to pay you guys all for being on this call. So just, I want you
to... I take crypto. So you're mining Ethereum. So
I am. Yeah. So
I'll send you my public address later.
I'll make sure I will right away. Thank you. Joey, how are you?
I have a question for Peyton. Hey, how is everybody?
Hi, Joey.
Hi.
What up, Joey?
I have a question for Peyton or Ginny. I want you to talk about the one-on-ones with Chris, like what it was like going into the one-on-ones, what you thought you would get out of them, and what actually happened in meeting with Chris so many times, like on a regular basis, that helped you propel your career or your side businesses or whatever your personal growth trajectory was that you don't think would have come had you not had those one-on-ones.
Yeah. I'll take this one. Like, I think, and then Jenny, you can say your stuff. I got like absolutely nothing from Chris's one-on-ones. I'm just kidding. I love the dude. Me and him, like,
dude, I'm paying
really
you. I'm paying you so much money to say good stuff. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Like he's a balancing board. So like the first one-on-one, I was like very intimidated, obviously, because of his like leverage experience and like Goldman Sachs and all that stuff. And so like for me going in, it was just trying to get to know Chris and like where I was and like in my life cycle. And so like at that time too, I was starting Binge Learn, which is like the first business that I like did an LLC. He helped me with the trademarks, like going through the legal aspects and very technical. But also there's sometimes that like I've like broken down in front of him. And so there's like more counseling sessions. Like I was at like 100 subscribers, 300 subscribers for months, Joey. Like, and so and Chris was there to kind of be like, hey, like you're gonna make it. Like, don't worry. And so there was like that stage of my life with him in like this year. And then like the next stage was like going over like the game report, understanding like the S1 reports, understanding like, hey, what do I need to do to fill in like the gap that's currently in the NFT marketplace? And that was extremely useful for me. And like my subscriber base went from like 300 to 1,600. And then like he also like obviously walked through walls. Like he didn't have to put me on the channel. You know, I was at like probably just hit like 1,000 subscribers, and he's like introduced me to like 50K of his subscribers. And so like going to the platinum, like, you know, you can't really put a price point on that. For me, like the one-on-ones, that's the reason why I did the platinum, is because he's really good at diagnosing like you and like believes in some stuff that like you probably like when he says like 100K subscribers in a year, I still don't believe it.
It's
but,
gonna,
like,
dude, it's gonna happen.
I know,
it's
Chris,
gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you start to believe it. He does that like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
James Cameron, fellow Canadian, he said, if you set your goals really high and you fail, you still fail above everyone else's expectations. So maybe you'll get to 98,000 or something. But I believe you, and I believe in you, brother.
Yeah. Thanks,
awesome.
Chris. But yeah, his dad jokes are also on par. My favorite part was that he almost like shocked himself in his room.
That's right. I electrocuted myself. That's right. I remember that. Dude, it's brutal. That was live. Yeah. And everything is broadcast live. So you see all my mistakes, all my vulnerabilities, my terrible dad jokes as well. I'm so sorry, everyone. Yeah. And thank everybody for your patience. That little gap we had today when I was trying to find Joey. Did you see that? I was searching for your email, man, everywhere.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. I'm an idiot though. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
Very cool.
Don't worry about it.
Awesome.
No big deal.
Cool.
Jenny, can you talk about your job seeking with Chris and like how he helped you find the job in Australia, even though you live in Vietnam and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Hi, how are you? I think I'm just really lucky to have a great mentor and have a great community here. So I was originally from Australia, and then I moved back to Vietnam. And so I initially didn't believe in myself at all. So this is a true story, actually. When I started back in last year, I had a like really bad depression, and so Chris actually helped me so much throughout all those periods. And I remember at one stage, so he built me up confidence upwards, and from that you can actually believe in yourself, and then you just kind of, talk to people. Maybe the first time was a bit awkward. The second time was like, okay, Jeannie, what are you doing? And then the third time, I sort of actually enjoying myself talking to people, and sort of really enjoying seeing people kind of interacting positively, and thought to myself, okay, I can do this. And at one stage, I actually remember thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to go to Australia and work as a chick at McDonald's. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that that's the kind of that's how I wasn't so confident about the skill set that I had. But yeah, like Peyton was saying that Chris is someone who actually knows you more than yourself, and he 100% believes in you. I think 1,000% believe in you, and that kind of really help a person actually to believe in themselves as a result.
You're absolutely brilliant. You inspire me so much, and you already have everything you need to build something far bigger than yourself. And all of
Same,
us.
Jeannie.
Yeah, you're amazing. You're incredible. You inspire me so much, sister. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Anybody else have questions here on Zoom? Ask away. And I'm looking here. I see a ton of comments here. People are Raph is on the call. He's talking about watching Squid Games. I'm on episode 7 right now.
What up, Raph?
Yeah. Everybody was one of those PlayStation dudes for Halloween this year. I don't know if you guys noticed that outdoors. Yeah. All right, let me go to the top here, and I guess I'll read through these. Emmanuel joined late last night. Ginny, I saw you this morning at 6:52 a.m. I saw when it came in live. Thanks for that comment. Ali, how are you? Great to see you. Naveed, good to see you. Naveed said, I hope this is as good as the last one. I don't think it was because I messed up. Sorry, but I hope you laughed at my expense. Okay, good. Joey, thank you so much for those great comments. Dello, how are you? Christina, good to see you. Christina always says to me, and we compete, and I love this. She always says, where are you at water-wise, and how many steps so far today? And so right now, Christina, I'm at the 11 a.m. mark. How about you? Where are you at now? It's over there. All right. You wrote you're at noon earlier today. So you're still kicking my butt. Yeah. In terms of steps, you're kicking my butt as well. I've taken over 2 million or over 14 million steps in this office in the past 2 years. I get 20,000 steps a day. Watch this. Alexa, what's 20,000 times 365 times 2?
20,000 times 365 times 2 is 14.6 million.
Yeah, so I've got a cheap treadmill down here, and that's how motion creates emotion, as Tony Robbins says. Yeah. All right, cool. So Gurav wrote, hi, everyone. I hold Tesla, but I'm scared of its PE. I hear you. So the best way to think about it is to build out your financial model 10 years from now, like I talked about, and find out what your earnings are in 10 years. Okay, and then you take the price today divided by your earnings in 10 years. And that's your target price based on whatever multiple you want for PE, factoring in growth, like I talked about with PEG. Yeah, I'm with you though. I hold it for a while.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell it because tax gains and stuff. Yeah.
Chris, I also mentioned that too, and you also mentioned in your talk too, and I think that was something that I replied to is in December of 2020, the 31st, the PE ratio was 1,000. Yeah. So also understand it shrunk based off of how fast they're growing. Yeah. And that was something that was kind of crazy to me is that yes, the PE ratio is going mostly because people are buying more into it every single time. Yeah. And so it's crazy how much it's shrunk based off of the growth that they're doing. Yes. And they still have Shanghai is doing well, but still Austin and all that stuff. And the Hertz news of 100,000 Tesla, there's just a lot of things. And they're going into AI, robotics.
Yeah. It's amazing, dude.
PE ratio is definitely still high, but you have to account for the growth that's going to happen and really truncate that ratio.
And when I look at companies that are expensive, when I'm doing my due diligence, my research, and by the way, that framework I showed you, the 100 steps, we're doing that EMS 4-2, Economics Management Strategy Semester 4 Class 2, very, very soon, the next 2 weeks. But what I like to do is I like to take a step back and ask myself, is this company or the sector it's in going to be more relevant or less relevant than it is today in 5 years? And that kind of helps you understand, see the forest from the trees as you build out your financial model from a relevance perspective. Because with technology companies especially, I've invested in a lot of public and private companies over the years. when a technology company starts to become a little bit less relevant, it's game over. Maybe there's one turnaround that works in tech every decade, like if the founder comes back, like Apple in the late 90s, so to speak. But people that try to short tech stocks because they're expensive when the market's doing well, they don't get it. They don't get it. And you never look at earnings this year or next year. You always look at your earnings estimate in 5 or 10 years, at least 10 years. I like to. And that's how I've done really well in a lot of stocks like LinkedIn before Microsoft bought it and basically did nothing with that asset. eBay years ago, as I mentioned, Amazon, Tesla, et cetera. You got to think long term. And you got to tell yourself, when you come up with your target price in 10 years, I teach you much more about that during the program. You got to ask yourself, you got to say, I don't know the path, but I know the destination. And I find that every year, 1 or 2 stocks in my portfolio tend to massively outperform every single other one. And it's silly because a lot of people, they'll try to chase waves, so to speak, and try to trade and make 5 or 10% or 20%, and that's it in a single stock. Well, if you choose a stock, there's only 20% upside. The likelihood of you nailing it is low, because the reason stocks go up and down mainly is because of macro-related events, geopolitical-related events. So I like to go for, and I mentioned this during the call, what's called a 5x5, which means a 500% return within 5 years. And yeah, I might be wrong. It might not go up 500%, but maybe it goes up a couple 100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I think long term, and by creating all these write-ups and all the tools I provide all my students with, what happens is after you create the write-up and then you invest in the company, if there's volatility a year later and everyone's freaking out and you're like, oh my God, I need to sell this stock, I tell my students, go back to your write-up and read it. And while you're reading that write-up you wrote a year ago, while you're reading your write-up today that you wrote a year ago, you ask yourself, all right, there's new news out there that's making the stock go down. Had I known about that new piece of news when I was writing this report, would I still have bought the stock? And you'd be unemotional. If the answer is no, sell it. If the answer is yes, buy more. Yeah. So it helps you to be very disciplined when you're investing. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool.
I wanted to ask the students how similar to the regular lectures that you get from Chris to today's lecture resemble. Like how close was it to how he normally teaches?
Well, I make a lot of mistakes.
Well, it's extremely similar, and like it's jam packed with value, and like what Chris said too is like I'm one of those people that like I'm picking and choosing which ones I learned from Chris. So like for me, like I went really in depth with crypto, and like he goes really in depth. So like something that's like he does 49 steps for like crypto investing, and pretty much just goes through like a prospectus of like how to do your own like prospectus or S1 report for cryptos. And so like it's very detailed, and apologize, Joey, I was only on it for half, but he was kind of going into like those Legos and everything like that. So it's very hands-on learning and very visual. And so for me, that was also very useful. And like I think to really like make like a 1-2 punch for Chris's like thing is like you actually apply it. Like I think all three of us on the call has like applied what he's said. And so like Christina's been like leading the charge. She's our fearless leader in the MBA program, like amazing networking and also an amazing speaker. And like Jeannie is like also already got a amazing job, right? And so like the thing is like really everything that he asks you to do or like, you know, teaches you to do, like if you do it, you will have some type of fruit. And I think that's like what the punch is. Like that's what you need to do is to like use this course to try to get ahead in life as much as you can. I know I have.
I learned so much from my students. Like Peyton's an incredible genius when it comes to NFTs. You should everybody subscribe to his channel. His name there is Peyton Kalawahea. He's amazing. I've learned a lot. I learn a ton from my students. Right? They inspire me. They inspire me so much, and we learn a ton from each other too. I find that a lot of people probably learn more from each other than they do from me, because we have kind of a cross-cultural breadth and depth to this class, where every country, every walk of life is represented as well, and we're all in this together. And the sense of community is great, and I love you guys. Yeah. Even you, Joey. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I love you, Joey. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I got to get back to work, though.
All right, dude. Take care.
Like,
Thank you for...
Everyone here is probably looking at a uniform and saying, I'm paying your taxes. So
No.
You're paying me with your taxes.
You're the best.
I need to get back to work.
All right, brother.
Boss, like,
take care.
At me like, hey,
thank you. Thank you
Love
so
you
much. I appreciate it. Love you more, man. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks. Very cool. That's awesome. Amazing, amazing. And I interviewed Peyton a couple of weeks ago. If you guys are interested, go to my YouTube channel, and you'll see on the graphic there, on the thumbnail, it's Peyton and myself. And I interviewed him, and the exposure he got was unbelievable. One of the senior executives at the top Israeli a software company called Checkpoint, ticker CHKP, and I know the founder, Gil Schwedwell, good guy. They reached out to him to give a speech to thousands and thousands of people at a security event. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that was through LinkedIn. It's pretty neat. Yeah, it's great. So my new thing is promoting my students. It's more fun that way. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So Ginny, when do you start your job in Australia?
Well, I'm moving to Australia by the 26th of December.
Okay.
I think,
cool.
I've heard from the HR department, and they're processing the process.
Amazing.
The application. So,
Amazing.
I think I'm just really lucky with you and
you're
obviously,
amazing.
and Simon. Just absolutely very grateful.
You're amazing. You're all incredible.
Back to Joey's question. Chris is as transparent as you can get. For me, like I will speak for myself. I trust him like 1000%. Whatever he asks me to do, I'll do it, because I know that he always will get
it's the middle of the night too. Like what time is it there in Vietnam right now?
It's 2:51 a.m.
My God,
right.
God bless you, and you look completely awake and perfect. And thank you so much. You're the best. You're the best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
wow.
much. Yeah.
You didn't have to do that. Thank you. Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. All right, we got Ravadi joined, and Helsing. If you want, you can ask a question as well. Completely up to you, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Same thing with KS Kevin. How are you? If you guys want, and Solrish, if you want, you can unmute and ask a question or introduce yourselves and just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you want. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you guys want, you can. What I'll do is I'll go through other questions here. Jude Labonte, hey Jude, how are you? Says, hey everyone, and thank you, Chris, for this live event. You're most welcome. I love your name, man. I met Julian Lennon when I was in Barbados. I set up an offshore bank for CIBC years ago, and Julian Lennon was in a bar, and I got to drink with him for a couple hours. And he told me a story about how when he was a kid, his dad had left his mother, Cynthia Lennon, to marry Yoko. And he told me, Julian, we were drinking a lot, and he's publicly disclosed this too, that Paul McCartney was the nicest guy to him, and Paul wrote a song for him. And so Paul used to call Julian Lennon Jude, and he wrote that song, hey Jude, don't make it bad, take a sad song, make it better, remember to let her into your heart. That's Yoko, let her into your heart, then you can start to make things better. So it's a great name. Good to see you, Jude. Pleasure to meet you. Hope you join us on many more calls, and come on here if you want as well to Zoom. Yeah. Nitin, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see here. Next up, Rafi, who's in the program right now. So Rafi, he's from the Philippines. He lives in Washington State and the northwest coast of the United States. So he's saying, Chris, how are you? I'm great. Good to see you. And I wish Peyton was on the call, because Peyton knows Activision better than I do. But you wrote, Activision dropped by more than $10 after they reported earnings yesterday. Qualcomm and Roku report later. Dogecoin to the moon. Yeah. And with Activision, what you got to watch out for, and I mentioned this to you guys before, is so Bobby Kotick, who's the CEO, founder of Activision, I met with him many times over the years. From a behavioral finance perspective, with Activision, ticker ATVI, you need to look for insider buying and selling from Bobby Kotick, because he always times the market perfect, more so than other CEOs. And I remember I met with him in Carlsbad, Southern California, years ago. And I asked him very politely in a one-on-one meeting I had with him at an investor conference. I said, how should we think about you selling a lot of stock? He was very funny about it. He was in the movie Moneyball. He was actually Brad Pitt's boss in the movie. He said, well, my wife, she has expensive tastes. And then the stock got hammered like a year later or so. So what you want to look for, Raf, is always look at insider buying and selling by Bobby Kotick. Okay, it's part of behavioral finance. It works exceptionally well. I've made money on the long side and short side doing that over the years with him. Next up, I got Joran, who wrote, good evening, Chris. How are you, Joran? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, cool. And then moving on, I've got Wilt Ferraris. Hey, how are you? First time I've seen you on the call. I hope you join us again. So Wilt wrote here, hi, everyone. Warm greetings from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Awesome. Great to see you. And we have a couple of students from Riyadh as well. I'm happy to introduce them to you if you want to meet with them and network as well. Great to see you. All right, next up, let's see, we got here. All right. Cyrus wrote, Chris, it is all included in our MBA program, right? Yeah, everything I've talked about today, everything. Yeah, and everything that I teach going forward as well. You'll all get for free. There's no subscription business model here. You get everything I make for free. It's a great deal, or your money back. Actually, you get between now and 99 days from now, February 10th, to get your money back. Yeah. Okay, great. And then Tima wrote, hello, sir. A big fan of your teaching. Call me Chris, please. Thank you. God bless you. Appreciate it. I've never seen you on the call either before. I'd love to see you again. And thank you. And God bless you. God bless you. All right. And Peyton, thank you for those nice comments about the course. Okay, great. So Abhijit understood my humor with the maple laughs. Oh, Lord. Yeah. So we haven't won the cup, Toronto Maple Leafs, Maple Laughs. Joe, you're from Toronto too, since the 1960s. Right, but of course I have to represent by using a prop. I'm Canadian, I'm from Toronto, man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you understood that awful attempt at humor for me. Next up, we got Kevin, who's on Zoom here as well. Kevin asked, Chris, you were talking about AR and VR before. Everyone got on the bandwagon. Look at Facebook with Meta. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's incredible. Yeah. And Meta, actually, the logo. Apparently, a buddy of mine from Israel, he said that the Meta logo, it looks like a swear word in Hebrew, or at least the way it's written. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Yeah, that's Facebook's new company name is Meta, the metaverse. Yeah, the ticker stays FB though. And so what Facebook is doing, they're going after the next platform that matters, which is AR or VR. Voice has already been conquered as the operating system. You don't see, feel, or touch. What's next is AR or VR, and that's why Facebook bought Oculus back in 2012. The use of proceeds from the IPO was for that as well. Also, Google invested $500 million in Magic Leap, based in Florida, AR company. Microsoft bought HoloLens as well. Sony just had the 5-year anniversary of their virtual reality product. And Christina, who has her hand up, her husband, Christian, who's also in the program, works at Sony. Go ahead, Christina, please. Thank you. Oh, looks like you're on mute still. Sorry. There we go.
Everybody.
How are you?
Yeah, I wanted to actually answer. This was my hand raised was from earlier for Joey that asked about the classes. So I'm one of the students, because the great thing about the MBA program is you could take it however way you want. It's your program. You could take all of it. You could take parts of it, of areas you apply. So I'm one of Chris's students where I try to be on every class, every live, time zone 1 at 9 a.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays, time zone 2 at 4 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then Thursdays at 11:20 to about 1:30 for his office hours for the gold and platinum students. We get to come on live to ask our questions. So I've, since December 14th last year, have tried to make it to the majority, I would say, of the classes live, because I'm the type that want to absorb and learn everything. And what's great is because his lessons are so practical in an edutaining way, and it's easily to digest that, and he takes you step by step through all the process. So for me, it's just so valuable to learn. So the 9 a.m. course, I take it, and then I go do it again if I can at 4 p.m. And that's when my 8-year-old daughter Isabella's a lot of times.
Whoa, can you say daughter again? Sorry, say it
daughter.
Again. Daughter. Okay. New York. Joey,
New York. Yeah. That's the New York side of me.
I love it. Your accent rocks. I love it. Yeah.
So it's really what you make of it, that you can be a part of. And it's so amazing that by 4 o'clock, I absorb even more because I already got the overview, I feel like, at the 9 a.m. and then you want to do it again. I know a lot of people, because of work and everything, they have to wait and do the teachable replays. But that's what's great about it, is that you can make this course however way fits your lifestyle, fit it in, and it's just, great.
Yeah. So. And the sense of community is great. So explain, you're head of the yearbook committee, you're helping out with graduation, you're the best. Tell me about the MBA happy hour thing you do.
Okay, so this is the other amazing thing about this MBA program. Professor Chris, he really tells you this program is what you make of it. So when we first started, he created a Slack channel, and we had a bunch of channels that was created, but people really weren't utilizing it to the best of their ability. So one of the things that I always remember him saying is that take the lead, be who you are, and put yourself out there. So I started thinking about, why not create a happy hour? And that's all through discussions with our peers. In Slack, we would all like kind of come together once in a while on Zoom. And during one of our Zoom sessions, one of the current students, Radiona, she was actually completing her traditional MBA, and she was in Chris's MBA program simultaneously.
Yeah, Michigan, that's right. Yeah.
And she's like, her bandwidth is maxed out, but oh my God, when she's complete, we should do a coffee chat where we can all stay together and chat. So I came up with, well, somebody has an idea, let me execute it, because she's too busy. So we partnered up, all of us, and say, why not? Let's do it. So I created a weekly Zoom happy hour for our MBA class. And it's every Sunday at 10:30. We come on Zoom, us around the world, whoever is available to jump on, and we share ideas. We pitch to each other. We talk about personal, professional. If we have idea we come up with, we want to kind of figure it out. We share with each other, and then we critique each other constructively, of course, or we connect each other with people we may know. Yeah. That's the thing. It's not just who you know. You don't know if there's someone in your connection, in your world, that you can actually help a fellow, classmate, and you pay it forward. And that's the thing, that collaborative effort is huge. And being to have a sounding board where we're in a safe space to practice and share and pitch, it's really invaluable to have that community where there's someone there that understands what you're going through, that you're just starting out or you're in the final stages of creating your pitch deck and you just want someone to bounce on. And that's what's amazing. The more you practice, the more you won't even need to reference all the notes and all the things. So it's really about repetition. This community really totally provides that space.
I love it. And you inspire me so much, Christine. But what I often say is, and I say it with love in my heart always to my students, I can take you to the water, but I can't force you to drink. And so I encourage a sense of community and practicing with each other, create these mastermind groups within the MBA as well. And our sense of community is amazing. We've got Khaled just joining from Southern Carolina. He and I have one thing in common, many things, which is he has Egyptian heritage. He was born in Egypt. My dad was born in Sohag, which is, I think, a couple hours south of Cairo. Khaled, it's great to see you, man. How are you today, buddy?
I think I'm on now.
Yeah. Good to see you.
I'm doing very well. Good to see you all.
Good to see you too. Good to see you
Hey,
too.
Doc.
Excellent. How's the weather in Southern Carolina today?
It is balmy and sunny and very nice.
Like always. Nice. I was in Charleston a couple of months ago with my family. Beautiful place. Yeah, it was awesome. Nice and warm too. Helsing, how are you? I've never seen you before, never met you. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on the call as well. Yeah. And we've got Kevin, we've got Petra joined as well. How are you guys doing? If you guys have questions, please ask away. Comments or whatever you want to talk about. We got a great sense of community here as well. And I guess,
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Is this Petra?
Yeah, you can call me Peter.
Peter, okay.
It's actually the first time that I really talk to you. And I just want to ask you can you recommend us a book apart from The Intelligent Investor?
Yeah, about finance, right?
Yeah.
God, let me. It's so hard for me to do it because there's everything is so theoretical. One professor I recommend. So I used to work for this guy named Ken Griffin. He's a billionaire founder of Citadel. And whenever I go into someone's office that's more successful than me, which is every office, I always look at their bookshelf. And so Ken, on his bookshelf, and I worked for him for like 2 years, he had books by Damodaran. So if you want to learn about finance, there's an NYU professor named Damodaran. So I would check out his stuff if you're interested. Yeah. But I find that everything is just so theoretical. If you want to learn, I love learning about business by case studies and real life situations. So if you want to learn about trading, you can read a book called Liar's Poker, written by Michael Lewis, which is a fun one written in the late 80s. There's also a book called Barbarians at the Gate, which tells you about the private equity business and how the National Biscuit Company, which is Nabisco, how Nabisco was taken private. That's a good one as well. But there's nothing really out there that I think can help. It's just listen to earnings calls, right? Like real life stuff. Read annual reports as well, and I have a lot of frameworks as well to help you out along the way. Yeah. But when it comes to just business icons in general, whether it's financial services, investing, or any aspect of business, I always recommend that people be voracious readers of biographies and autobiographies. And I do this through Audible. And the reason I do this, and I listen to it's Audible based, is because really, really successful people, when they become very successful, they want to help others. And instead of reinventing the wheel, you can listen to biographies or autobiographies of successful people, and they'll tell you their blueprint for success, and you can work smarter, not harder, by doing that. Yeah. But there's another book, actually, when it comes to finance. There's one called A Random Walk on Wall Street, and it's written by Peter Lynch, who is the portfolio manager at Fidelity for many years, and my old boss, Carson Levitt, used to work for him, told me great stories. But One Up on Wall Street and A Random Walk Down Wall Street, you can check those out as well. The bottom line of that book is that the way this portfolio manager, Peter Lynch, who managed the Magellan Fund, the way he made a lot of money was the companies he invested in, he and his wife tried out all their products. I know it sounds simplistic, but you got to invest in what you understand, what you use. So, for example, she would go to a drugstore and buy these pantyhose that came in this egg-shaped carton. Christina, do you remember those things? Egg-shaped carton. Yeah, I remember my mom used to have them, and my mom would give them to me, and I put my Smurf collection in them. This is me being transparent. But they made a ton of money investing in that. It's a real story. Yeah. So just invest in what you understand, what you enjoy as well. Yeah. Hopefully.
Thank you.
My pleasure, Peter. My pleasure. So where are you based, Peter?
Well, actually, I'm from Romania, and
oh, cool.
I thought to try something in America, like I don't know how to call it. The American dream or anything.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about America, and I'm close to 18. Like I have less than a year left, and I just want to know what to do in the future.
Yeah. Well, I can teach you advanced networking skills that'll help you out tremendously. And the Romanian community is actually really strong in New York. My best friend, actually, during business school, he and his wife, Traian and Mihaela Karabash, they're Romanian. Well, he says he's Macedonian. She's Romanian, she says. They're both very proud of their heritage as well. And they came with nothing, and they built up a fortune as well. We go on vacation with them all the time. And they'd be more than happy to help you out as well. Yeah. You got to reach out. And like anything in life, you got to ask. Ask and you'll receive. It's prophetic. It's been true since the beginning of time. People want to help you. And if I could have gone back in time and given myself advice when I was 18, what would it be 18 again? I would probably told myself, Chris, stop trying to speak gooder than everybody and impress people and worry about what people think of you, and realize that the key to success in business is that relationships are more important than product knowledge. You got to network with people. Find people with similar past that you have, that are your business icons, and contact them. They want to help you. And in the program, I teach you exactly how to do it. Yeah. People want to help you. All you got to do is ask. And a lot of people, what happens is, they're in high school or undergraduate school, and they get good grades, and life works out well. Their teachers are happy. Their parents are proud of them. And then what happens is they start working in the real world. And they look around and they realize, oh my God, everybody's getting promoted faster than I am. And everyone's getting raises faster than I am. Why is that? It's because behind closed doors, they ask. You'll never be noticed in a big company. You have to ask. If you want a raise, you got to ask. If you want a date, you got to ask. I'd ask 8 million times. But if you want anything, you have to ask over and over again. I teach you how to do it as well when you have one-on-ones with your boss as well. You got to be relentless, because as Mark Cuban said, you only have to be right in business one time. You have to ask over and over again. And if you're selling something, like selling yourself, if they don't say no, in your mind you tell yourself, all I heard was not no. And when they say no, you got to tell yourself no means not yet. And you got to be willing to take a lot of risks as well, because as Michael Jordan said, I love this poster, I failed over and over again in my career, and that's why I succeed. So you got to not give a damn what anybody thinks of you or your choices in life, every choice, your career, etc. And you got to just think with your heart first and fail a lot. Because again, you only have to be right one time in business. Yeah. But it's a pleasure to meet you, Peter. Pleasure to meet you. Yeah.
Chris, really, I can't say what I'm feeling like. I feel it right in my heart. Like I am just speechless. I can't describe it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are great. You're a good man.
Thank you.
I can't say anything.
And
you have a good team right there.
Thank you.
With Christina, with
awesome.
the guy that left. I forgot his name.
Yeah, Peyton. Yeah.
And Jeannie from Vietnam. Like, I love your work. So keep it up. I don't know.
Thank you. I
really like it.
God bless you, man. God bless you. Thank you. Yeah. Just enjoy, smell the roses along the way as well. I think when I was your age, it was interesting because I thought to myself, I want to make a fortune first, and then I'm going to enjoy my life. And I remember it was 2009. These are my kids. I have 3 sons. It's crazy but fun. Andrew, Matthew, and Dylan. It was 2009, and Dylan was born. And I was kind of stressed out because, the markets were in free fall. I was running my hedge fund. And I told my wife, I said, honey, I'm going to take a day off. And I drove down the California coast. It's beautiful. And I went to this place called Carmel. And I walked around. I found this beautiful old church. This is not a religious thing. And so I went to the church and I sat down. I was just kind of, collecting my thoughts and just questioning my life and where I want to go in life and stuff. And this priest, he came up to me and he said, is everything all right, my son? And I said, you're not my dad. No, I didn't say that. Sorry. I said, yeah, I just want to make sure I can make a fortune so I could give my family the best standard of living I could possibly give them. And he said to me, he said, you got to realize that in 50 years, your kids aren't going to remember how much money you have. They're going to remember were they there for you. And so just enjoy your life along the way as well. And don't worry about the future, right? Think with your heart first. Don't give a damn what anybody thinks of you. But enjoy every damn day. And Winston Churchill once said, I met a man who on his deathbed talked about all the worries he had in his life, none of which came true. What kills us is not work, it's worry. So Hakuna Matata, it'll all work out. And if I can be a humble, tiny part of your success, I'm here for you always. Whether you sign up for this program or not, I don't care. Yeah, I'm there for you. Thank you. All right. These are my kids. And this guy here, actually, so we didn't want them to be jealous about this guy here when he was born. And so we were going to name him Luke. And these guys threw a fit. They said, I don't want baby Brody named Luke. I want to be named Han Solo, which would have been a pretty badass name. So he's Dylan. Christine named him. Yeah, he's like a son to me. No, they're great. They're all great. They're all different. Yeah. And by the time your child is 12 years old, you've already spent 90% of the time you're ever going to spend with them. And as difficult as COVID was last year, it was kind of a blessing. I got to reconnect with my kids. They're a bit older now. So enjoy every day, man. Enjoy every day. Yeah. Okay. And I got to get religious. Here I go, okay? I got to say one thing. Earmuffs if you're not religious at all. I don't worry about my career, right? For most of my life, I haven't. Because I tell myself, God already knows what's going to happen. And that puts me at ease. Okay, earmuffs off. That's just me. Okay. I brought God into school, which is criminal in lots of universities, but I'm transparent. It's just who I am. Yeah. All right. Oh, look at all the thumbs down now. That's okay. This is me. Yeah. You get all of me. Yeah. And last thing I want to say, Peter, if you're still listening, I think you are. Yeah. We study a lot of business icons, and we study Oprah Winfrey a bit as well. And she said that you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. So don't stress out along the way because you don't have everything. It'll come. Yeah. And the Dalai Lama, and I have a book to recommend. Somebody asked for Peter asked for a book recommendation. Peter, instead of reading finance books, I recommend reading or listening to the audiobook version of the Dalai Lama. He wrote a book called The Art of Happiness. And what he says in it, the guy's very spiritual. He's amazing. And this is not a religious thing at all. But he said that the problem with Western society, especially the United States, is that we sacrifice our health our entire lives in order to make money. And at the end of our lives, we sacrifice all of our health, all of our money in order to maintain our health. And then we look back and we realized we never really lived to begin with. So enjoy the ride as well. And don't worry about your career. It'll all work out, I promise you. Because most of the stuff we worry about never comes true anyway. Oh, I talk a lot. Okay. All right. If anybody has any other questions, let me know. I'll read through the rest of these here. All right. So next up, I've got Helsing. Go ahead, please.
Hey, thank you, Chris, for being on and making this spot available for all of us. We really appreciate it because I know you can be doing other stuff. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for being. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this as well. I appreciate it. Tell us a bit about yourself. Where are you from, man?
Born and raised in the USA. I currently live in China with my wife and our near 2-year-old daughter. You said like around 3 a.m. here, maybe.
Oh, in China, you said?
In China. I'm using the VPN because
very cool. Yeah. Very cool, man. That's awesome. Whereabouts? I've been to Shanghai many times on business. It's like Blade Runner. It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's an incredible city. Where are you based?
Hangzhou. So Hangzhou is like 45 minutes from Shanghai via high-speed rail.
Oh, I love it. Hey, Christina was born in Macau. Yeah. The first person I ever met that was born in Macau. How cool is that? Yeah. Very cool.
你好. Nice. How are you? 你好.
你好. 我很好啊。我想问你。
哇，你的中文很好。Wow, that's amazing.
谢谢。一点点。
很棒。
Now I speak I speak Mandarin, and what they just said was Chris is a scam artist. When you pay, you'll never see your money again. Don't do it. Okay, go on, please, in English now. Yeah, I'm joking.
My question now, Chris, you're awesome. Like very awesome. Like you've got a light. It's very awesome.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
My question is for Miss Christina. How do I join that the coffee hour you were talking about? That sounds really good because right now I feel like I need to be around more positive people and positive investors and people who are growing because there's a lot of negativity out there and I don't want to absorb that. I want to be in positive areas and circles.
So it's part of our MBA Gold and Platinum students for our class of 2021, where we have a weekly Zoom happy hour on Sundays. So it's a group that we all come together and kind of brainstorm ideas and stuff. And it's on Zoom. So I actually posted on the chat. If anyone have any questions or want to connect, I put my personal email on there and also my LinkedIn, especially as Peter. And how do you pronounce it? Helsing?
Yes, Helsing.
What a cool.
Helsing Gray.
Helsing.
Thank you.
Very cool. And if you want to connect, then for the silver on the management, I was empowering the students there in that program about creating their own kind of happy hour, bringing their class together, and being leaders and finding like-minded people who want to, support each other on a day-to-day. And that's really kind of the key. You want to look towards your community and seeing who are people in your life or people you want to reach out to on LinkedIn or not to create these kind of meetups together. Now with Zoom, anyone around the world can bring people together. And Khalid, he's one of the wonderful students that get to join our weekly calls. And, it's such a value add, having every walks of life of people, being part of these kind of happy hour Zoom calls. And we just call it happy hour. It's 10:30 in the morning for me. So usually I'm drinking water and tea, but we have our friends that are in like Barcelona and Jordan, Netherlands, that they are drinking. So really nice alcoholic happy hour beverages. So it's a variety, right? Because we're a global class. So it's really fun to see the balance. But yeah, reach out and we'll see what we can do. and stuff. And I hope all of you join the Gold and Platinum because we have an amazing alumni group too. That's the other thing. Jason Blythe, he's our alumni head, and he's actually based in Australia. Every month we have a alumni monthly Zoom call that, you know, all the classes come together and we get to support each other on even greater level. And Chris, Jasper actually just posted on the YouTube.
Oh, he did? Oh, cool.
Yes, take a look at what he wrote.
Yeah,
I think it would be benefit for Peter as well.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Let me do a quick search for his name. So Jasper's based...
The last one. It's I think the last.
Oh, it's the most recent one. Okay, cool. First time I saw him, he was wearing a KISS shirt. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. He's amazing. He's another one of those superstars in our class that really took what you taught.
Dude, he took... Okay, so he wrote a resume that we talked about in the first semester. And on the back of the resume, he created this unbelievable one-page infographic. And when he went to the interview, they said, "Where'd you get that from?" Like they thought it was so good. He got the job and everything. He's great. He's starting a company that it's really cool. It's like Coinbase, but it's for food products as well. So we've been talking about build materials a lot. He's a big collector of Pokemon cards too. He's done it all. Good guy. So Jasper, great to see you, brother. Jasper said here, when you are worried about something, there are two options. Number one, when you can do something about it, take action. Number two, when you can't do anything, don't worry because you can't do anything about it. It's so true. Yeah. It's so interesting because there's so many aspects, so many times in my life, I remember I've been so worried about stuff and it never comes true, most of it, you know? Yeah. And it's interesting because years ago I was watching National Geographic, and there was this gazelle getting chased by a cheetah, and they put these sensors on the gazelle, and as the gazelle was running away, trying not to die, get murdered by the cheetah, obviously the heart rate was increasing a lot, and the immune system shut down for the gazelle, and the reproductive system shut down for the gazelle. And I mention that because we're not supposed to have much fear in our lives unless we're running for our lives and our life is at risk. It's not healthy, and it's a big part of Western society as well. It is what it is, and we have a lot of friends that have tried to conceive, and it's not an easy process, and it's very stressful, whatnot, and then they can't get pregnant, and they end up adopting a beautiful baby, and life is great. And there's no stress, and then they get pregnant naturally, like without the stress. It's so interesting. Yeah. Oh, Jasper's joining here too. I'll bring you in, buddy. All right, cool. And then I've got here. Thank you, Jasper, for that. I've got Ravathi wrote here. Hi, Chris. I'm excited to join this program. Awesome. Would love to have you. I can understand from this session. This is going to be very informative and a lot of learnings. My question is there a certification provided at the completion which is recognized? Also, I would like to understand how to network and market the product we have already in AR and VR. Will this help to meet my objective? Absolutely. Let me talk about accreditation first. So you get this, which is from my school. Okay. Now, when it comes to accreditation in general, the problem with accreditation is you have a standards body, and Christina and I actually looked in this a lot before as well. You have a standards body, like a board, and they make sure that you teach antiquated, crappy stuff, like theoretical garbage. And so I think that in my lifetime, only 50 universities are going to be around by the time I pass on. And I think it's just going to be like the Oxford or Cambridges of the world, where you get into because your parents went there or something. You're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I think what's going to happen is a lot of these universities, they're trying to compete with online. Online is destroying their companies, and I'm glad that's happening. I'm part of it. I believe in it. And so what will happen is initially there will be like there will be a Hail Mary pass. Damn, I need my football. What will happen is the schools will about to go belly up. They'll deplete their entire alumni funds. And then they'll call all their alumni to give them a Hail Mary pass to basically save the school. And that's the last breath they have, and they're done. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you spend 4 years at an undergraduate university. It's $100,000. I'm going through with my kids now. My kids, if they want to go, it's up to them completely. And you learn nothing. You have 13 hours of class a week, a ton of debt as well. And business school is even worse. And a lot of top executives refuse to hire people from traditional MBA schools because they're taught theoretical crap. And I went through one, man. I went through an MBA, and I've worked with tons of people at Goldman, other firms that went to Harvard Business School, etc. They teach you garbage you don't learn. You graduate and you don't know how to start a company. They don't teach you how to start a company. They don't teach you how to sell. They don't teach you how to network. These are important life skills you need. They don't teach you how to manage your money. They teach you how to manage your own money, but not, or they teach you how to manage other people's money, but not your own. They don't teach you the most basic things that you need. It's theoretical crap like supply and demand graphs and buy when PEs are low, etc. It's garbage. Garbage, yeah. So I don't believe in that. And I think that those universities are in secular decline. Yeah. In terms of your question on AR and VR, and will my program help you? Absolutely. I mean, there's something in it for everybody. For you, you'll love the venture capital boot. My floor is a disaster here with props. You'll love the venture capital boot camp, which is in the 3rd semester. And based on my experience working in venture capital and being on boards of companies that other VCs were on, et cetera, starting companies, et cetera, I'll help you. For sure I will. For sure I will. Now, what you want to do is with your company, when it comes to VR, AR, it can be really expensive if you're making the hardware product. I'd focus on the software side instead. Okay, because that way you have very high profit margins. Very high profit margins. You think about building a platform that other people populate as well. And the best investments in history are always platforms that other people populate. eBay. eBay is an auction platform, obviously. LinkedIn is it's a quintessential job platform. Facebook is a company I don't trust, but they're a social media platform. They don't make any social media stuff. Uber is a taxi platform. They don't own a single taxi. Airbnb is a hotel platform. They don't own a single hotel. You build something that gets populated by others, and then you've got unbelievable leverage to the upside, and your CapEx is low. In fact, when you join the program and I tell you how to start your own company, I'll never tell you to get a loan from a bank or use your own money even. I want you to be happy in your life, and I want you to raise money from high net worth investors where the sales cycle is quite short. I've raised humbly and managed over $1 billion in my career, and I teach you exactly how to raise money as well. So yes, it will help you. I promise you, or your money back.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And there's the money back guarantee. It's between now and 30 days after we start, February 10th. So basically, that's 99 days from now. Yeah. So you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Yeah. I'd love to have you guys a part of it as well. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Great question. I love it. Thanks. Very cool. Very cool. Excellent. All right, if anybody has questions on the webcast, let me know. Great to see you,
Chris,
Jasper. Go ahead.
Say one last thing.
Sure, Peter. Go ahead.
I have to go because I have to watch a football game.
Oh, cool. Like real football, right? Like the real one.
No,
not this.
In Europe it's called soccer.
Soccer,
like,
yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I want to say again a big thank you to you,
Thank you,
and
Thank you.
to everyone who listened to me, and I hope that I didn't say anything wrong or interrupt you.
No, not at all. Please, I loved your question. It was therapeutic for me answering that question in hindsight, thinking of myself when I was 18. Yeah.
Can I ask you one more thing? And
anything.
Then I go?
I'm not, dude. You know me. I'm never ending this webcast. I'm going to be the last man standing. It's what I do. And I don't have a chair in my office because I got people complaining earlier this year saying, Chris, you sound tired. No chair in my office. Yeah. But I'm good. I can lean on this. I got this thing here as well. Yeah. Go on, please. Yeah.
We had actually a young teenager from our country that went to America. Mm-hmm. I think you know him. His name is Sebastian. He found a company called StoryHeap or something like that.
Okay.
And I don't think I hear you anymore.
No, I'm here. I don't.
Okay.
What's the name of the company that Sebastian founded?
StoryHeap. Like it's something with statistics based on Instagram, like who saw your story and.
Okay, cool.
a little more inside.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
And then he's a millionaire now, and he was on every channel on TV. And the only thing that that those channels didn't said about him was how he went there. And the thing that bothers me now is actually networking, because from your course, I took a course on Udemy. The thing that doesn't bother me is how can I have success or anything. The thing that bothers me is how can I make friends and network, as you said, and because I don't really know anybody there. Like I don't have any connection except from you guys. And this is my question: how can I make more friends without having to worry?
When it comes to business connections in general, what you got to do is you got to think of it this way. Imagine yourself 20 years from now, Peter. You're 20 years older, you're 20 years more successful than you already are today. And in 20 years, this 18-year-old, very similar to you, reaches out to you. Same background from Romania as well, interested in tech and startups as well. And this 18-year-old asks you, do you have time to give me advice, please? Would you say yes or no?
I would say yes, because I was in the same situation.
Okay, good. I want you to find a very successful person with the same background that you have, and there's plenty of them, okay? And I want you to send them a LinkedIn message. And I teach you about this in more detail in the program, but I want you to send them a LinkedIn message. And I want to mention what you have. You mention what you have in common with them. Really, really short. You know, Joanne, hope all is well. I'm also from Romania. I'm also passionate about the tech sector, and I also went to whatever high school you went to or university. Please let me know if you have time for a quick Zoom meeting or a coffee in non-COVID times. You just told me you'd say yes, so she would as well. So that's what you got to do. You got to do an advanced search in LinkedIn and find people who have something in common with you that are 20 years older than you maybe, or more successful than you are right now at least. Yeah. And network with them and ask. And every year when I used to teach during the evenings at San Francisco Bay Area undergraduate and MBA schools, in the very first class, I would always say this. I would tell my students, and I always loved big class. It was fun. I walked around a lot. I was more animated than I am now. But I would always ask my students. I have 70 students. And on the first day of class, and there were always 10-week sessions. And I would say, if I told you in the next 10 weeks, if you set up 10 informational meetings with strangers, leveraging LinkedIn, whatever it is, if I told you you did one of those every week for the next 10 weeks, that you were guaranteed the job of your dreams, would you do it? Every hand goes up. Every hand, of course. And then on the final day before the final exam, which was always easy, and I always got in trouble for grade inflation, but I told my boss, the dean of the school, this is the best class ever, over and over again. But on the final day, I asked, how many did 10? No hands go up. How many did 9? No hands go up. How many did 8? 1 or 2 hands go up. And those students that raised their hands, that did 8 informational meetings, they never got the top grades, but they always got the jobs they wanted most. And they're the most successful ones because they asked. You know, it can take one informational meeting to change your life. It's a game of numbers. It's like dating. You know, if you ask a ton of people out, eventually you'll meet your soulmate, and this person will say yes. I had to ask 1 billion times, obviously. Asking will receive. It's prophetic. It's the truth. It's the beginning of time. So just remember that in business, relationships are more important than product knowledge. Always bond before business. And when you go to these informational meetings, don't just talk about business right away. Just talk about what you have in common. Go to their Twitter profiles, see who they follow. You know, if they follow, I haven't used my baseball bat today. I'm a big baseball fan. If they follow baseball, and maybe they're New York Yankees fans, unfortunately, like Christina is. I'm from Toronto, sorry. You guys are the best, okay? Only in America, by the way, last night Atlanta won the World Series. Only in America they call it the World Series when there's like 1-2 countries in it. But I go to their Twitter profile and I find out what they're passionate about. You know, they follow what maybe movie stars, James Bond, whatever it is, or baseball teams or football teams, soccer teams, etc. And I know what to talk about in those meetings. You bond with them. You always bond in business. A rookie mistake is in meetings to jump right into business. You want to bond first and establish a personal connection. It's how it works, because one meeting can change your life. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you for having a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Patience with me.
Yeah.
And I really have to go, but
okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure, and enjoy the real football game you're going to. And I hope to hear from you again, man. Thank you. And thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
All of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Cool. All right. What do we got next year? Oh, Rose is on the call here. So Rose graduated last year from the MBA program. She was head of the yearbook last year. So Rose wrote, "So true. In addition, opposed to other MBAs, your program evolves and adds new things based on what's currently happening in business." Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to see you, Rose. Rose is from the great state of Virginia as well. Yeah. Great to see you. Yeah. Controversial governor election I saw there. Yeah. I'll stop. Okay. I mentioned Donald Trump once, and I like 2 people right away, they wanted their money back on a thing that I did. Yeah. But I look, when I grew up in Canada, I loved Ronald Reagan because he fought communism. And so I was a Republican. I came here. And then I couldn't vote Republican. I couldn't do it. So now I go between Democrat, Republican, and whatnot. But interesting election there in Virginia. Okay, I'm going to shut up now about that. Okay. Rose, it's great to see you as always. Great to see you. All right. And if anybody on Zoom here has a question, comment, go ahead, please. If not, I'll just keep going through questions here, see if there's any more questions. Yeah. Okay. All right, where am I at here? All right, yeah. So I've got, it looks like Anthony wrote here, "Hey, Chris, I have to leave, but your MBA and finance and accounting courses led me to do all sorts of startups and business contracting over the past 5 years. I've been meaning to blog about your help." Thank you. I appreciate it. Hope to talk to you soon. Have to run. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Cool. And then Kevin wrote here, and earlier on I was making reference to buying when everyone else is selling. That's the best way to make money. And he's quoting Rothschild here, who's a very famous investor, wealthy family in America. And he says here, "Buy when there's blood in the streets." It's true. When it feels really, really uncomfortable, that's when you buy. And just remember, as Dale Carnegie said, you have to remember in business that people are creatures of emotion and not creatures of logic. And there's a reason why people sell stocks at the worst time. You got to be unemotional. You're like Elon Musk. There's many reasons why he's successful. He's very unemotional as well. And he was backing up the truck and buying stocks, buying Tesla in size, like $40 or $50 million worth, in March of 2020 at the very bottom. You got to be unemotional, always. Yeah. Okay, and then Kevin wrote, "Whatever is worth watching, it's worth waiting for Chris." Oh, thank you. And this was back when I made a mistake in the webcast and I had to reload a presentation. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Nabaisa wrote, "At what time do live classes start?" I'm from Morocco. Yeah. So the classes are every Monday and Tuesday in 2 different time zones. Time zone 1 is 9 a.m. my time, which is Pacific time. And time zone 2, again on Monday and Tuesday, is at 4 p.m. my time. And in between those sessions, Monday, Tuesdays, and on Thursdays, I do one-on-one meetings with students as well. And then we have, for MBA Gold and Platinum students, only office hour every Thursday at 11:20 a.m. for 2 hours. And everything, including all the Q&As, like 200 hours of Q&A that I do for each class as well, that's put online in your version of the program. So you get 500 hours by the end of the year, and it's growing as well. The only thing I don't record is the Zoom meetings, the one-on-ones, obviously, because it's completely confidential. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then Unblemished wrote, "What about those that have already bought the regular MBA?" Yeah, we have lots of students that have MBA from top schools and other schools. And they tell us they've learned a lot more in the first month in our program than theirs. Yeah.
Chris, if he's referring to owning the silver or the on demand, we can have.
Oh, if that's what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you already bought a silver, you can actually buy this at a discount. Okay, you get a $500 off as well, which is the same deal we have today. Yeah. Because silver costs $500. Yeah. So silver is just pre-recorded. You don't get live Q&A at all or one-on-ones. Yeah. Okay. All right. And we also call silver on demand. Yeah. Thanks, Joey. Appreciate that. All right. Everyone's saying hi, Ginny. Okay, cool. Okay, and then Ravathi wrote, do we get networking options with other investors? Yeah. I'll never tell you what stock to buy. I'll never introduce you to people unless it's a one-off and I'm interviewing you. I provide you with tools. And as I've said, and I say it with love in my heart, I can take you to the water, I can't force you to drink. But I promise you, if you use the tools I provide you with and you practice, because repetition is the mother of all skill, if you do that, you will become successful. You just got to keep at it. Yeah.
Chris, she means opportunities. It was just a typo, and I think we could talk about the interview series that we plan on next year with other industry people.
Yeah. Well, the question was, do we get networking options with other investors? Yeah. But we do get networking opportunities with people in our class. I have an annual alumni event here as well. And once COVID is over, I have all the technology equipment here in the Bay Area. I'm going to be going down to Silicon Valley, 20 minutes south, and I'm going to be meeting with the top CEOs. And I'm going to be doing, and I've done a lot of videography stuff the past couple of years to get it ready for this. We're going to do tours of headquarters as well. So I will be adding that to the curriculum. But I don't want to just do it over Zoom. I want to do it in person. Yeah. All right. Okay, and then Ferns wrote here, I bought the crypto course on Udemy and the financial analyst course. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. You're the one. Thank you. And then Ferns wrote, I have to say, Chris is amazing. Thank you. And I'll definitely look into the gold and platinum once I finish both courses. Awesome. Thank you. We'd love to have you join us. Thank you. Thank you. And then Manny wrote, a great teacher, love from Montreal, Canada. Oh, dude, I miss Montreal, man. I had so much fun there. My son Andrew wants to go there for undergrad now as well. I went to McGill. The drinking age was 18. It was crazy first year. Actually, my first year, because I went to this really strict all-boys school in high school. I hated it. It was like Dead Poet Society. And 60 people graduated my class from high school, and 20 of us went to McGill. And more than half of us failed out in the first year because we finally had freedom, right? And I don't drink anymore, but I don't drink any less. But I partied so. And my first year at McGill, actually, when I got a D in accounting, okay, because I was memorizing and understanding it, my first year, I partied so hard that I was in the hospital with mononucleosis. Thank God, or dude, I would have failed every final exam. Yeah. But I love Montreal. Montreal is the closest you'll get to Europe and in North America. I love that city. Not in the winter, though. Yeah. All right. But I do remember, actually, when I lived in Montreal, freezing my ass off waiting to get into the bars. And on the way home, you don't feel it at all. I wonder why. Yeah. Great to have you. All right. And then Khaled, who's on the call here to Zoom, who's a fellow Egyptian heritage, wrote, I absolutely put my voice with Christina, Ginny, and Peyton. The community aspect is excellent. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. And then Ferns, I wrote, love from London. Lots of love to you as well. I was born in London, Ontario. Yeah. An hour and a half south of Toronto. Yeah. Joey, you've been there, right? Yeah. You've been to London.
London, Ontario, for sure.
Yeah,
London, England, never.
Well, yeah. Well, London, England was named after London, Ontario. Yeah. So,
there you go.
All right. And then Khaled wrote here, plus the MBA content is so rich, I'll be rewatching those lectures for a while. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. You have access forever. Thank you. Next up, we got Craig Spencer. Hey, Craig, how are you? Craig wrote, Chris, is there any chance in the future where taking your MBA program earn transferable college credit that will transfer into ACE credit accepting universities like WGU competence-based education? No, I won't do that. No. I'm not going to let anybody tell me what I can and can't teach because then it becomes theoretical garbage that you can't apply in the real world. Yeah. And I'll never do the degree mill thing. This is about education, applying what you've learned and taking your career to the next level or your money back. Yeah. And the cost structure of these schools is crazy too. Yeah. All right. Next up, Unblemished wrote, how do I upgrade silver to gold? Yeah. You can do it. I had a call recently with silver folks, and there's an upgrade program where you can actually, give me a second. There's an upgrade program where you get $500 off, which is what you paid for silver. And so today, if you go to the link you see at the bottom of the screen here, you'll get $500 off as well. Yeah. Next up, we got Petra. What books do you recommend? Okay, that was Petra. Okay, you go by Peter 3D here, but you just left the call. Okay, cool. All right, moving on to Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. My brother's name is Jimmy. So Jimmy wrote, thanks for Chris, the program on Udemy and the entire MBA in one course, the complete business plan course. I built an awesome fintech accelerator. Thank you. And I guess you go also by the name of, let's see here, Jakata as well up here. I see it on chat. Very cool. Thank you. Oh, I see why, because it's your couple letters of your last name there too. Thanks. All right. You're most welcome. Thank you for that. Yeah. Ira wrote, nice to tune in. Thank you. Great to have you. The Hummingbird wrote, hello, Chris and everybody. Good to see you as well. I remember I invested in a company called, founded by Fred Sorkin in Toronto called Hummingbird. Great software company. Mateo wrote, hey, Chris, what's up? Life is good. I hope you're doing well. Question. How can I be able to correctly forecast a company's financial data for the next 10 years from scratch? I mean, your template's amazing, but I still can't figure out how. Yeah. So I'll explain in much more detail how to do it in the program. But basically, you start with revenue, okay? And you forecast revenue into the future. And then what you do is you figure out what % of revenue every expense item is going to be. And then over time, you want, of course, revenue growth to be higher than expenses. And there's two ways to grow earnings. One is to grow revenue. The other way is to cut expenses. And I go through this in a lot more detail in the program as well. Yeah. There's a lot of steps, but I make it simple to understand. Yeah. Little things like the denominator is always 1. Yeah. All right. Gagan. Hey, Gagan, how are you? It's been a while, man. Wow. Great to see you, bud. Hello, Chris. Hello, everyone. So great to see you. It's been a long time. Yeah. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. I relocated to Luxembourg from India last year. Very cool. A big gratitude and heart for Chris for what he does for his students. And I like the icon. And thank you. And namaste and God bless you. I hope the move went well. Yeah. Okay. And then Mateo wrote here, oh, and another one. Any suggestions? Sure. Any suggestion on a good European investment platform for long-term investing? Something like M1 Finance. I'm from Italy, and unfortunately, there aren't many decent brokers here. Yeah. So what I would do is just get a list of the top 5 banks in Italy and call every single one of them and ask them what brokerage service do they recommend. A lot of them own their own brokerage services as well. And I know that because a lot of them used to be my customers when I worked at Goldman years ago. They can all recommend their subsidiaries. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Solomon wrote, hey, Chris, may I know what's the difference between this program and your MBA Udemy course in terms of subject content? Yeah. So the course on Udemy, it's a 7.5-hour course. It's called an entire MBA in one course. And it's just a very, very high-level overview of the business life cycle of a company. This one is it's more than 500 hours, including the Q&A. Plus, you get one-on-ones as well. Yeah, and you get lifetime access to every new topic I add forever. Yeah. Okay. And Jasper, that's the quote I read earlier. You inspire me, brother. Inspire me. Thank you. And then Super Fairy wrote here. Thank you for your channel. You're most welcome. I like your lectures in Udemy. I have one question. What do you think about cryptocurrency? Yeah. So I think most of them are a scam. I think that when I first started doing research on cryptos, and I did a hell of a lot of work on them, but I was bullish. So I first started investing in cryptocurrency companies back in 2013. I own 4 cryptos I'm never selling, and I publicly disclose this as well. Do your research though first, please. Those 4 cryptos are Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. And the founder of Ripple lives just around the corner from me here. So I own those, but I won't recommend other ones. There are other ones I like, but I want my students to do the research on it because I love you guys. Yeah. But I think most of them are a scam. And when I started doing research on cryptos and I taught that course in the MBA program, I was 7 out of 10 bullish, positive on them. And by the end, I was 3 out of 10 because there are so many scammers out there. Most of it is crap. There's more cryptocurrencies now than real paper-based fiat currencies. It's a bubble. Yeah, a lot of companies will do well, but there's a lot of pets.coms out there, which is a relic from the internet 1.0 bubble as well. Yeah. But I did so much research on cryptos. This is crazy. I did so much research, and I hired this guy to help me as well. And he was so amazing that I got a knock on my door from the NSA. And I was scared. Like why? And so he came in, I offered him coffee and everything, of course. I was scared, right? And then he asked about that guy I hired. And he didn't say why, but I think it's because they wanted to hire him. He was that good. Yeah. Because he was an expert in cryptography. Yeah. And SHA-256, which is the essence of security for Bitcoin, was created by the NSA as well. Yeah. And the book I'm reading right now is all about that. Alexa, read me my audiobook.
Getting your selection from Audible. Resuming This Is How They Tell Me the World Ends. Into oblivion.
Alexa, stop. So this book, it's called This Is How They Tell Me the World Ends. It's not negative like that. It's about cybercrime and about Snowden as well. It's fascinating. New York Times bestseller. It's amazing. Be careful with all your IoT devices at home. They can easily be monitored. And I'm not a security nut, but just be careful. And it's only a matter of time until we hear of instances of people breaking into these things and actually taking videos of you. They can access it. Yeah. Like when Obama went to China. And actually, so the former CTO of the CIA, I hired him, my previous company. He was on my board, Gus Hunt. And he told me that you're not allowed, if you work for the U.S. government, you're not allowed to bring these things into foreign countries, certain countries. Because what happens is they can take it at customs and copy it even if you have it on your person, on you. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. All right, let me see if there's any other questions here. All right. Okay, and Nima wrote, hey Chris, how do you hold live classes on Gold and Platinum program? How are the classes different from Silver? Thanks for all your time and effort. Yeah, so the content's similar, okay? Except I actually do, after each topic, I take questions. There's a lot of interaction, a couple hundred hours of questions actually. And all of it gets recorded and added to your version of the program. You also get one-on-ones as well, and a lot of networking events and a lot more. Yeah. And we do have an upgrade program in place. Just go to the link right here and you could save $500 as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. And Mighty Man said, Chris, does the Silver program prepare you for PMP certification? Is that project management? We do some of that stuff, but nothing major, so probably not. Yeah. But I'm going to be adding a lot of technology stuff to the program as well. I used to be a programmer for years, so I'm going to be adding tech courses. Okay, I'm going to be adding artificial intelligence-based analytical software stuff. And I teach programming as well. It's going to be fun. Yeah. I programmed for years when I was younger, and yeah, I miss those days. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions here on the live chat. Any more questions, comments from the webcast from Zoomy? Oh, here we go. Khaled, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Just wanted to make a quick comment because
Sure.
more than one question
Sure.
came up about accreditation.
Yeah.
I would say the power of this program is that it doesn't seek accreditation. There are so many skills and new aspects that are very relevant to investing, to doing business on the internet, to knowing what's going on around you, that I don't think any other program teaches it. To me, it was a revelation the day when you were showing us how to set up a mining computer setup for crypto. When we were talking about how you come up with YouTube channel setup and YouTube content, you even showed us down to the technical aspects of using a camera and the f-stops and the shutter speed, which happens to be a personal passion of mine. And that day I was like on cloud 9.
Awesome.
So I think accreditation, unless it's really, really, really something that you absolutely have to have, in this day and age has become unnecessary. It's about the knowledge and the network. And I can't stress enough what you have stressed enough to us, that it's more important to have your network than any degree or any network.
It's so true. I completely agree. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. I love my students. They're the best. Oh, I got to announce the winner of the master class I have. let's see here. The winner of the masterclass is, here we go. It's Jen Mabij, M-A-B-J, from South Africa. Congratulations, Jen, on winning the Finance Masterclass. And I got a gift for everybody in the call, too. Stay with me, please. And my staff will send you an email as well. So congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, time for the free gift, as promised. Gotta make sure I have the right keyboard here. Give me a second. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a browser, and I'll show you where to get it. Okay. So give me 1 second. Let me clean up my screen here a bit. Okay. So what you do is you go to this web address with me right now. You go to harounventures.com / and hold on a second / free gift. Free gift. Let me try it again. Free gift. So harounventures.com / free gift. And let me just tidy up all these windows I have everywhere here. And then what you can do is if you click here, you get my complete financial analyst course for free. Okay, so go to this link here. This link won't be up here forever. Again, it's harounventures.com / all lowercase free gift. And I want to thank you all again for being a part of this. Everybody that typed comments, questions, etc. Thank you. Everybody that came on Zoom, God bless you as well. Thank you so much. Ginny, it's the middle of the night for you in Vietnam, like 2:30. Thank you as well. I appreciate it. I love all of you. You guys are your family. So check out the link below if you're interested in the program. Again, there is a 100% money back guarantee that expires February 10th. And there's a limited number of spots, especially for Platinum. So if you buy now, you've got up until February 10th and 99 days to get your money back. No other business school does that. I will walk through walls for my students. God bless you. And I hope to see you in class. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Everybody,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. I'll see you guys.